I love caddying for Paul, don't get me wrong.
How much would you pay to play disc golf? And like, to me, that kind of gives me an idea about like what these elite courses, this is where I'm going back to, it gives me an idea about what these elite courses could or should charge.
If I was to go to Europe and play the Beast, I would happily pay $50 because that's the experience of it. Yarba, on the other hand, is one of the most beautiful looking courses in the world, and it would be a dream to play there. If I had one opportunity, only had to play one round there, I honestly would probably pay $100 just to say I've played Yarba disc golf course.
$100.
Anywhere else though, I've never looked at another course and said, yeah, I would totally pay that much.
For me, if I can play a free course or I can choose to play a course that's $40, I will do the $40 course every now and then.
Every so often.
Wow, Nick, it has been too long. And when I say too long, I mean it's been like 2 weeks since we did this show last. Doesn't it feel literally like forever after you've done 5 months of every week?
Yeah, it's a little awkward because like some of the times we've done 2 episodes in 1 week when we've had to do like pre-recorded ones. We do one on like a Tuesday and then a Thursday. So yeah, taking a week off was kind of cool, but like kind of weird at the same time because we got busy lives.
So yeah, well, so I'll just kind of spill what happened to me. I got a call to go down to West Virginia, and on my way to the job site, and I'm coming from Massachusetts, I get a call that one of the cement trucks on our job site rolled down a hill. Now, the individual did not get fatally injured.
Yeah.
But in the safety world, I'll just tell you, I can't tell you too much actually, but he's going to be okay. But it was a very significant incident, and anyways, that just took up so much of my time and traveling and being investigations and all that stuff. Yeah. And you've been working crazy too. So
yeah, crazy hours lately. Got a job site that's going on in the North Shore, just north of Boston, pretty much. So my drive every morning is over an hour and a half from one destination to the actual job site itself. And so when you got to be on the job for 7 o'clock, 3:45 in the morning rolls around real quick when you're waking up every day.
So Nick, what happened while we were away? Is Jomez hit 250,000 subscribers. It's probably because people that were watching our show that week just went over there and subscribed. They said Nick and Matt aren't on this week, but they hit 250,000 subscribers, that's the largest following on YouTube specifically for disc golf.
Yeah, for a strictly disc golf channel. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, obviously you have Brody, but that was not strictly disc golf.
No, he's got other things that go on with, he kind of started out with the ultimate frisbee, the trick shots, and then the golfing, and now disc golfing. But yeah, Jomez to strictly just do disc golf related stuff since the beginning to 250,000 subscribers. Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, so that is what's happened again. And then how about this, Nick? Locally, or I should say locally, regionally, New England and portions of New York, and I think that's really the addition. Team Challenge. Now, I think we're actually going to do like a full show, or not a full show,
a good segment
on what New England Team Challenge is all about. It's really cool just to tease it out there. Teams of, on average, 16 guys, 2 girls, or whatever, in that range. Everyone has a home course, and they have a schedule and divisions and pools, and you move up and championships. And were you on a winning team one of these years in the A pool?
We haven't won the championship yet in the A pool. The A pool being the top level pool. But this year, actually, the team that I was playing for, Team Buff, we were 6-0 with 1 regular season match left, which, I can confidently say more than likely we were going to win that one. But so to try to go 7-0 going into the finals, and then COVID obviously happened, and unfortunately we couldn't really finish out our season the way we wanted to.
Yeah, and speaking of COVID, this year startup, every state is kind of, not every state, but states are kind of doing it internally as opposed to traveling. So it is different this year, but we're still enjoying it.
Now we're doing a Massachusetts team challenge.
We just won. My team just won our first match. And we won every single match. We didn't lose one. No, we didn't even lose it. It was a tie. It was a push. So it was half a point.
Gotcha. I was going to say, you guys won and like 42.5. Yeah,
and that guy's kicked off our team. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I would have.
So anyways, let's just, the topics tonight, special guest, Hailey King, disc golf rich, won an amazing championship. Some are declaring that should become a major. And speaking of majors, Nick, we're also going to talk about, because we took off last week, we're going to talk about the USDGC recap. We're going to talk about the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship recap. Players of the year, maybe, or our honorable mentions of who we think, or just our opinions on that. We are going to play Judge That Disc Golfer tonight, and I'm going to kind of leave that a secret right now. No, we'll tease it out.
It's going to be a fun little twist to it.
A little twist. Stick around for that if you'd like to participate in that. And then we're going to intro with a segment with Hailey with the Would You Rather question. So really, let's just remind people. Well, let's just remind people real quick. 3K giveaway. We already did the 2K.
Yep.
And if you're listening out there, that is shipping. That is shipping. Finally got the discs into the bag. Nick, what disc went in that bag?
There's a Proto Zeus, one of the Paul McBeth stamp Zeuses, and then a big Z Vulture, a nice orange one.
Okay,
sweet.
Awesome. So that is what's in that bag, but we are doing a 3K giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe, and realistically, once we hit 3,000, we'll give it away to almost anybody who's going to comment on our video. We'll talk about how that works. And can I just do this last little tease? Literally, we don't want to keep Hailey in this green room or her car for too long. But the $20 giveaway to Marshall Street, all you have to do is review on iTunes, screenshot it, tag us in an Instagram post.
Is it still up in the air?
It's still up in the air. That was $20 giveaway. That was still there last week.
I'm about to go review our own show.
Yeah, you could do that. So this will be the week everybody does it. But anyways, it is still there. Free money. Rocky took it home 2 weeks ago, and I think he's got something he likes. So anyways, do that. All right. Without further ado, let's bring her into the room officially. I want to make sure we've got our audio set. So here we go. Hailey, tell us, where are you right now?
I am somewhere in Arizona.
Nice.
Just at a random gas station.
Somewhere in Arizona. Do you have the air conditioning on?
Yeah, it's like 80 degrees out.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I wish it was 80 degrees still here.
Okay, so to make this a little bit, 80 degrees. It's like snowing in portions of the country, and she's in Arizona. So you've been driving a majority of the day, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is about the longest time that you would ever go driving before you were like, I've had enough? Is there a limit?
I think I'm at like 27 right now with a 4-hour nap.
Wow. Nick, have you ever done 27 hours with only 4 hours of rest?
I did. I'm going to brag really quick. Humble brag. I actually did 27 hours from Florida to Mass with a 1 hour stop. And that was only because my tire blew in Savannah, Georgia. And they switched all my tires within an hour. And then my cousin and I drove straight up. He did about 45 minutes of driving. I did the rest of it.
Wow. I think maybe 17 for me.
And that was again.
Yeah, I did maybe 17 hours overnight once, and that was just to see my newly engaged fiance. It was really awesome. Or no, actually we weren't engaged. It was prior to, but it was like I had just said, now everyone go I had just said like I love you the first time, and then I drove like 17 hours to go see her. So she can verify. Okay, so Hailey, nice. let's get right into this here. Would you rather, and we're all going to answer this, would you rather be forced to dance every time you heard music, or be forced to sing along to any song you ever heard? So what do you think, Hailey?
Dance.
Okay, so every time the music comes on, you're going to dance. Some dance.
I'd rather dance, yeah.
So, can you tell us what that dance might look like? Would it be like a shimmy, or would it be like full blown like
one of the Fortnite ones?
Yeah, some from Fortnite.
Yeah.
All right, so Nick, what would you do?
Well, I can't dance, and I definitely cannot sing, but I would much rather sing than dance.
So every time
I heard a song that I heard, I pretty much do that anyways. If I hear a song that I know, I'm singing it.
And for me, I think it's going to be, I'd rather be forced to sing it, although I think you could be a little bit more discreet. I feel like you could be more discreet dancing. I know it sounds funny, but you could just get the little like, just a little
like foot stomp.
Always just feeling it, you know? All right. So Hailey, that was good. Awesome. Would you rather live in a cave or live in a treehouse?
Treehouse.
Treehouse.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on why that might have been your choice over a cave?
Better views. Hopefully.
That makes sense.
Where do you imagine this treehouse being? Like in the woods, or like on an island, or like what?
Like in the Amazon rainforest on the tallest tree.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's that Swiss? Okay, I'm gonna date myself now. I'm like one generation, Nick's another, and Hailey's like another. Wait, what's the age difference between you and Hailey, Nick?
I'm 26.
Okay, so 7 years. Is that right? 7 years. So the reason I go with that, Swiss Family Robinson was like one of my favorites growing up because they had a tree house, like a massive, like they could live in it. It was awesome. So, Nick, what would you choose?
I'd probably go tree house. Definitely not in the Amazon though, just because. Did you ever see like Tarzan when the cheetah goes up and kills the family? Yeah, I'd rather not have that happen. So give me a tree house somewhere in Virginia, and I'm content. That's where I'd like to be.
I guess I'm going treehouse as well.
Cave would be kind of cool.
Caves are cool, climate controlled, every year, all the time. And did you hear like I think it was in Maine, maybe there was like a disc golf course with like treehouse venue. Anyways,
I want to go.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's get on to question number 3. Would you rather be forced to eat only spicy food or incredibly bland food? So like no taste or extremely hot. Which would you rather be forced to eat?
Spicy.
Really?
I like spicy. Yeah.
Okay. Are you somebody who you like spicy food?
I don't know what spicy food, but like if there's a spicy option, I'm gonna try it.
Awesome.
Decent.
Okay, Nick, I'm going to jump out of order here and I'm going to give my answer. I grew up with a mom who would like sneak the hottest of hot sauce like on my hamburger when I wasn't looking. And I loved it. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I loved it. I was like, what am I eating? My mouth is melting. But like,
you love it.
I did like it. So I'm going to go with, it's hard though, because we're talking being forced. Like, we're not talking like, I want to enjoy this. It's like being forced. So like, if I'm being forced, I'm probably actually going to go bland. Like the force. I want to enjoy it when I have the spicy. Yeah. Nick, what do you got?
I don't know. Bland would be like, okay, no flavor or anything like that, but I don't really care for spicy food. So it's kind of like a lose-lose for me, but I'll probably go bland. Just because if it's incredibly hot, then it's just the most unenjoyable thing. At least with bland, you can bear to eat it. You know, it sucks, but.
Okay, and final, would you rather, before we get into the real cool stuff, would you rather, this is fun, would you rather be the best in the world at climbing trees, there's another tree question, or the best in the world at jumping rope?
Climbing trees. You can get every frisbee you get stuck.
That's a real good point.
Just imagine this. What does that look like, Hailey? Explain to us what being the best tree climber in the world looks like. Like, what is that? What is that? How do they judge that? And what might be some of the things they judge there?
Speed. I don't know.
Yeah. Really okay. Don't know. They'd get a 10 for speed.
Yeah, and then like if they miss a step, they get points off or something.
Well, they got finesse. They don't miss a step. If you're the best in the world, you're not missing a step.
But we asked her what they would be judged on.
Yeah.
So the perfect ones wouldn't miss a step. But yes, that's another judge. I think speed, but how high they can go. Well, that's part of speed, but like how high they could go, actually. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So Nick, what would you choose? Best jump roper or climbing the tree?
I don't know the benefit of being the best jump roper in the world, so I definitely am going to go with climbing trees. Like, what is so cool about jump roping that you could brag about?
Wait a second. That's like, and I'm going to get hot fire for this, but like, what's so cool about throwing a frisbee and hitting it into a basket? I mean, it's like what does jump roping have over disc golf?
Is there a professional jump roping association?
Yes, there is.
What do they do?
And surprisingly, I did not get this question because of this, but if you look it up on YouTube, look up like competition jump rope, and it's a thing. The best in the world is from Brazil. I watched her just like 2 nights ago on YouTube. Incredible.
Gotcha. I'll have to check it out now.
Anyways, I think you would just get a lot of fans, just like you do with anything else if you're the best in the world. Okay, so Hailey, that was our Would You Rather. And can I just say, people have been all over, like, I say all over. A small minority of people have been all over like Facebook and social media being like, wow, Hailey's really animated and she's really excited about everything. And I'm like, we'll get her to talk. So thank you for sharing your opinion on that stuff, and I expect to see you climbing trees and getting discs. Okay, so.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
She's a woman of few words. She says, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to know Hailey.
All right, go ahead, Nick. Ask a question.
All right, Hailey. Can you tell us when and how you were introduced to disc golf, and what is it about the sport that keeps you coming back for more?
So one day after work, my dad's coworker took all of us out, and I think I was 13. It just became a little family deal. We were always pretty active growing up, so we did a lot of hiking and then sports. So disc golf was perfect. We were just hiking in the woods and then throwing a frisbee. So we grew to like it really quick, and then
So what is it about the sport? Like, you obviously you enjoy it, but like, what is it about the sport that keeps you coming back to the point where this year you won you were contending in a lot, but you won a lot. But like, what is it that brings you back? Like, what is it about the sport that you have come to love?
I think disc golf it's done so much for my life. Like, I feel like it's helped me through a lot of things. So I just don't think I could ever quit disc golf. Just for that reason, but I'm very competitive, and I like disc golf because it's a one-on-one sport. So it's the best competitiveness you can get, and I like to win at things. So I, got to keep coming back to try to get a win.
Yeah, liking to win. I'm in that same boat. Although in disc golf, I don't know why I keep playing if that's what I like to do is win. But can you touch on just a little bit, because I think a lot of people would relate to this. Now, you don't have to get as detailed as you might think, some people want, but like in general, you said it's helped you with things in life. What kinds of things would you be talking about there? I think there's a lot of people. We had Eagle on the show, mentioned similar things. What is it for you that it's helped you with?
I feel like it helped my mental health, because if you think about disc golf, there's a lot about it than just playing the game. It's a mind game. So you have to have a strong mind in order to do well at it, right? Also, I met a lot of really good people throughout disc golf, like my first year touring. Those people have impacted my life and continue to impact my life. But really, disc golf just made me grow up pretty quick, and it sort of taught me how to deal with people and talk with people better and just be a more positive person, I guess.
It's definitely crazy seeing a lot of the younger touring players right now coming from different backgrounds, obviously. And like, you were, I think last year, still completing different parts of school. You went into strictly online schooling. And then I think probably one of my favorite stories about this year, and Hannah had actually tweeted about it, where she was like, look, Hailey King didn't even know if the season was going to keep going once COVID hit after Waco. So she went and got a part-time job. And then the season finally kicks back into high gear, and she goes and wins arguably the biggest event at the end of the year. So kind of cool, different backgrounds from everyone. But yeah, the maturity level and kind of like the growing upness that you had to do to sustain a full-time touring life is insane for anyone at any age, honestly, at this point, but especially being at a young age.
Nick, you've been playing disc golf for a while, and
yeah,
it's since before you were 19. You were 17 or 18.
I was just about 17 or 18 really when I started playing.
Can you imagine at your age doing what she did?
No.
Okay.
Gosh, no.
So
I can't even imagine at 26 doing what she does.
So Hailey, can we interview you again, whether you stick with disc golf or not? Can we interview you in like 10 years and ask like what the situation was like in hindsight? Because that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So obviously when did you graduate school? Like, when was that?
This year.
This year. Okay.
2020. Yeah.
Wow. A lot going on in 1 year. So do your friends at school, you probably get asked this question a fair amount. Do your friends at school like very familiar with disc golf? Are they familiar with what you do with disc golf?
So honestly, I left high school, I think freshman year, to do online school. So I kind of just cut those people off and found my own crowd in the disc golf. But like my teachers and stuff, they're always texting me and emailing me about my tournaments and stuff. And they saw the Pro Tour thing, and I think they wrote something to the news and stuff. So they want to get me like featured in our news.
You're about to be like the local hero.
She is the local hero.
Well, yeah, she is the local hero, but
so I looked it up. I looked up your town and I forget the name of it, but I looked it up and you're like, I think you're second highest rated in your town, but like in the whole state, I looked it up. There's like 3,900 players or something like that. And it's like, you'll say, well, that's not that impressive, but you're like in the top 100 highest rated in the whole state. That's including all men and women, over 3,900 players. So we're going to talk a little bit about your rating, actually, just out of curiosity. I don't know if you realize this. You probably do. It's your game. Over the last 13 events, since round 2 of Ledgestone, round 1 didn't go your way, but since round 2, you averaged 982. That was your average, 982. What do you think? Because it feels significantly better than the I'm stuttering here. It seems simply better than the first part of the year, which I know had a whole bunch of other stuff in it. But like, what do you think changed after round 2 of Ledgestone that really, it seems like it propelled you all the way through to the Disc Golf Pro Tour? What changed?
Well, I put a lot of time during the COVID off season after Waco. I put a lot of time in on the course and on the baskets, so I think that was definitely the main contribution to it. Whatever. Contribution. There we go.
You and me both. You and me both stuttering over words. Wow. Okay, so keep going.
So I think that definitely was the biggest impact. I also think that I had just a mentality shift during that time. I met up with some friends, some actually high school friends, and we had some good talks and figured some stuff out. So I was able to get a clear mind, and then I somehow just translated it into the rest of the year.
Somehow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
She just flipped a switch and all of a sudden just insanely good. You arguably, to me, have, for FPO players, 100% have the smoothest forehand, and then your backhand is incredibly smooth as well. And I know, because we've talked obviously for months now, you've kind of changed up the way your form is. You found little tweaks in it. You found parts of your form through the 2 different off seasons that you need to correct. You know, you're one of the furthest throwers as well for the FPO field. What kind of elevated that part of your game?
What do you mean?
Like, what kind of elevated the way that your form is and how far you throw your distance and everything like that? Like, do you feel like you're one of the competitors, like top competitors in distance for the FPO field?
Well, I think in this country, yes, for distance and stuff. But I think once you go to the Finnish and the Europeans, I think they top me out still for distance and stuff.
Maybe someone like Evelina. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think Evelina and Henna, they throw far.
Henna, see, I haven't really seen Henna play too much, so I don't really know her distance. But
she can throw Mach 3 like almost 400 feet.
Really? That's insane.
I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still beating her on the putting green, though.
I saw her out at Las Vegas Challenge, and actually I was filming the lead card, which unfortunately I didn't get to film you that tournament, but I did see you behind us making some moves. But like, yeah, Evelina and Henna throw extremely far, but I think you can keep up. So what is the strongest part of your game then, that if distance, that extra 30 or 40 feet or whatever it is, isn't your strongest part? What is your strongest part?
Putting. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really confident with my putting.
And I think for somebody to say putting is the strongest part means they are confident about putting. And that is, do you think, is that in your experience? So let me just put it out there. I'm your friend. I'm not here to like make you look bad, but the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship putting championship they did in the off season, I felt extremely I felt through the camera your frustration in that whatever round was the last one you made it to when it wasn't going your way. What do you think there? Was your confidence shooken, or is it just like it was just one of those times?
It was just really windy, and I just wasn't really in the correct mindset to be playing that invitational thing. Yeah.
So that's kind of, and again, I don't mean to bring up negative things, but that's kind of where you were talking about.
Kind of like,
All right. So it kind of was getting a little stuttery there, but you're back.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't mean to bring up the negative thing there, but my point is something did change. And that's what you talked about. You were able to talk with people. You were able to get your confidence back. It was propelling you all the way to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. What were your expectations going into that event? Did you have expectations?
Yeah, I didn't have any expectations based upon where I wanted to finish, because I was already in the semifinals. I just wanted to be confident the entire time, no matter what shot I was throwing. I wanted to be confident in it. Mm-hmm. And I was able to make the right decisions, and I was confident in every single shot. So that was my main focus going into this tournament.
So I'm asking all the questions tonight because Nick knows a lot about you, but here's another question. Yeah. And you might know about this, Nick, but I want to hear it from Hailey. It was really cool, and I've seen players do this, and you are no exception. You did this at the end. They said any shout outs, and you said like that was for you, Dad. Do you want to tell us like what that means to you there, where that shout out was for your dad? Like what does family mean to you when it comes to disc golf? You're on the road a lot. What does your family mean to you? Actually, I know you're visiting your sister too, but what does family mean to you, and how does that help you out on the course?
Family's the most important thing to me. I'm always calling my sister. We call like 5 times a day on FaceTime for like hours at a time. And my dad, he's always been like my closest person, my favorite person in this entire world. So, him just being able to, I guess, not live through me through disc golf, but being able to see me chase my dreams is his biggest goal. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, family's just... Yeah, I love my family.
So did your dad call you, or did you call him right after the end of the DGPT finale? Because I'm sure he was watching it live, right?
Yeah, so he actually told me. So normally I text my dad, like during the round, I just text him. And he said that I couldn't text him that entire round because he wanted to watch it, and he didn't want any spoilers. So how delayed it is. But by the time I got off the court, I called him, and then they just saw that like I made that putt. So they answered the phone, and they all just screamed.
What was the distance on that putt? Because video distances is always kind of funky, but to me that looked like a 25, 30 footer. Was it about that?
All right, her video froze up just a little bit, so until she comes back, I'm going to tell you, I think it was about 5 feet inside the circle is my opinion.
Yeah, it was probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it felt like it was like 20 feet.
It felt like it was what?
It felt like it was a 20-footer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Imagine that, putting a 30-footer and having it feel like a 20.
Like,
I cannot relate to that.
I really don't know how far it was.
Yeah. And Hailey, you knew that was for the win, right?
Yes, but no. Mm-hmm. Like I had a feeling it was, but I wasn't paying attention.
Gotcha.
Trying to get about that.
Okay, so I'm kind of catching that, and I'm sure our audience is a little bit. She said yes, but no, she wasn't really paying full attention to like what the actual details were. So can you tell us, I saw some of your comments or your interviews recently before our show, because we're Thursdays and everyone else is earlier in the week. You mentioned like maybe you were in shock a little bit. Was your heart pounding though, like when you were going to make that putt?
No, I was completely nervous. I mean, I wasn't nervous at all. I was completely calm. The entire tournament, I was super calm. Like I never felt my heart pumping at all. It was just like, I was just out there throwing frisbees.
Can I ask what then in this world gets your heart beating? Like, is it a scary movie, or like, is there times where that is, or you've recognized in your life that like you're able to just maintain consistent calmness?
I feel like I'm just pretty good at staying calm. Mm-hmm. Like, scary movies don't really get me. It has to be a really scary movie.
Okay.
It's funny. Yeah, I totally understand that. Do you feel like, because you and Paige competed, you battled it out at GMC pretty much until the last hole. Do you feel like there was kind of like a little revenge on, beating her now at the DGPT finale in a playoff when she got you at GMC? Was there any of that kind of mentality to it? or were you just there to beat the field? Did it matter who you were in a playoff against? You were just there to win.
I was just there to win.
Yeah.
I knew that coming down onto it on 18 that 2 tournaments this year I gave away the win on hole 16. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing, is just don't give it away this time.
Yeah.
Don't give it away.
Yeah. I think this is a question that everyone kind of wants to know, but $20,000 is an insane amount of money. It really is for anyone. And to win that in a disc golf tournament is obviously unheard of until this last tournament that we had for the MPO player and the FPO player winners. What did it mean winning $20,000? Is that like, how does that benefit to your touring lifestyle? Is there any big changes that you're going to make right now, or?
It definitely changes my whole schedule, and everything revolved around disc golf. Now I'm like secure. I have money. I can do this next year and I'll have no problem. I'm going to be saving my money. I don't know.
So I think that's true. And I think to give us any more details is kind of just intrusive on you, but I think it would be, it's going to be life-changing for any touring disc golfer, because to win that much at one event, and I saw a post, I think it was the Disc Golf Pro Tour posted, like you more than doubled your career earnings in one event. So that's obviously significant. Yeah, I'm having a brain freeze, Nick, but I had a follow-up question here.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Nick.
What kind of like main goals for next year? Anything like that? Like, are you going to start touring right in Vegas for the start of the Pro Tour season? Is that kind of full tour and everything like that for you?
Yeah, I want to hit all of the Pro Tours. And I want to hit most of the national tours, and I want to win some more events next year.
Yeah.
I think I can do it. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And I remember what it was. Now, someone made a comment live and they said, like, you and Calvin Heimberg should have a podcast talk show just because of your even keel nature. Nothing seems to get you that excited. Before you go, and I know you're sitting on the side of the road and you've got, 9 hours left or something? So, something. A lot of hours left. Is there anything else besides disc golf that, if you didn't have disc golf, you'd probably be doing?
I'd probably be playing soccer.
Okay.
Nice.
Is that something you did in high school as a part at the same time as disc golf for a while?
I couldn't do it in high school, but I did do it in middle school and before that.
Awesome. Yeah. So sports are really your thing.
Yeah.
Totally
Kinda
cool.
athletic family.
That's awesome.
Totally cool. So I think we're not going to keep you much longer, as much as the people would love to keep hearing more and more about you. And I don't see any questions that come in that I don't want to diss anybody here, but that are worth asking right now. or I miss the good ones.
We're definitely going to have Hailey come on the show again soon, on a time where she might be able to spend a little bit more time, maybe during the off season, kind of figure out what's going on. You're heading out to California again to spend the off season out there. I kind of do this for all of our guests. I want to give you 30 seconds to a minute, little shameless plug. Go ahead. Where can everyone find you on the social medias, and where's the best, place to support you? Where can we get the Hailstorm hats, the discs, anything like that? Where can the people find you?
So my Instagram is King Hailey 33. My Facebook is just Hailey King. I don't use anything else. I have these hats available. I have them in, I think, 4 colors. I'm waiting. I have them all with me, and I will be shipping them all. So I will be making a post later on my social medias when I'm ready to ship those, when I'm all settled down. But right now I think all my stalkers are out of stock at Discraft, and then I might have some Forces left on the Gibson Industry, but everything else is pretty much sold out.
But like normal pro shops, if someone's to go and buy a Tour Series stalker, that does help support you, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So at your Discraft retailers, people, go check out the Hailey King Tour Series stalkers. You want to describe that disc really quick, just so everyone can know kind of how it is?
It's a 7-speed and it's beaded, but it flies like a longer buzz.
So
It's
Buzz
very
being
cool.
Buzz being the best disc in the game, now just add a longer version for it, and you can't go wrong with it. So,
all right, we've got 2 Discraft sponsored players here. I need to jump in. No, I'm kidding. I actually throw a mixed bag, and I do have a good number of Discraft in my bag. I agree. Although the Buzz, Nick knows it. It's just not mine. I throw the Comet. I love the Comet. That's my thing. So, all right.
I'm a Buzz kind of person. Hailey, we appreciate you a ton for coming on the show. It was great to see you throughout the year. Glad you could come up to MVP, GMC, and all that jazz, and drive very safely to your destination. Let us know when you get there so we can tell the audience that you're there safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Can we have you in studio when you're back here for MVP?
Yeah, sure.
All right, awesome. All right, good. Have a great drive and stay safe. Thanks.
All right, thank you guys.
All right,
bye, Hailey.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Nick, what stands out to you in that interview? Like, to me, it's someone already hit on it. Like, there's something that she embodies as a player that I don't want to compare it to Calvin, because we can compare Calvin to her, but like that portion of the mental game, do you have that? Like, she said her heart was not beating on that last putt.
It's pretty crazy.
For $20,000 or $10,000.
No, for $20,000.
Yeah, but if she
for a
lost,
$10,000 putt. Yeah,
right.
yeah. But that's a $10,000 putt, dude. That's freaking insane.
Have you ever taken a putt for 10 grand? No.
No, I definitely have not.
So that's crazy.
I think that's kind of like the coolest thing that I could take away from this quick little segment with her was she's just kind of like super cool, calm, collective when it comes to competing. And there's so many people, we've had multiple guests come on the show and say, hey, if you're not getting that like jittery fire, you don't love the game. But like Hailey clearly loves the game, and she has found a way to just mentally be so, calm throughout the whole thing, which I think is insane. Because a couple of weeks ago in a tournament in New York, I was in a playoff, and I remember when I was taking that putt on the second hole of it, it was a 30-footer uphill, and my body was shaking. Like, I had adrenaline pumping. It's very few times you get into an area like that, and especially a putt that would have been one of my biggest wins so far. And she did that putt for the Pro Tour Finale Championship. Like, that's insane to just drill a 25.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. 25-footer dead center.
And what did it feel like?
What?
It felt like 20 feet.
Yeah, exactly. It's how many people could you go up to in the disc golf world and say, hey, female or male, what's the best part of your game? 99% of the people are going to say, oh, my drives or my upshots, my backhand, my forehand. Hailey says her putting.
Yeah.
And to me, that's so beyond impressive, because I think a majority of disc golfers, if you ask them what's the best part or what's the worst part of your game, they're going to say, oh, my putting's definitely the worst part.
So I agree. That was totally cool. And can I just brag a little bit? And I think it's mainly thanks to you, Nick, as being her friend. But she honestly, yeah. And Hailey, I mean this in all the best ways. Like, I feel like her personality was shining through on this show more than I've seen it anywhere else.
Hailey's just chill.
Okay.
She's very quiet. If you get her in the right conversation, she'll go ballistic with it. But she's just very chill.
Professional tree climber, or no?
Yeah, exactly.
World's best tree climber. So, okay, Nick, we are going to do something that we haven't done before, and I think we're competing. If not right now, we're competing with the presidential. I think it's a debate tonight, isn't it? So I don't know.
I don't know
so,
at this point. We promise not to bring politics in this podcast.
No, but I'm hoping they come to us if they're turning themselves away from that. Come to us. We're going to talk about and debate other things. So we're actually going to do something we've never done before. This is the first time for this. So if I've caught your attention, please stick around right now. We're going to actually jump in and play Judge That Disc Golfer, but we are going to do this with our live audience tonight. And the way this works, Nick, I will be their voice. I apologize for that. But I will be their voice, and I'm not going to do my okay.
Yeah, not the regular one.
No, but I'm going to be their voice. And how it's going to work is the first live comment that comes through with an answer that I see, because I can't tell everybody I'm going to see the right order, but the first one that comes through that I see will be the answer for Judge That Disc Golfer, and they are going against you as a live audience.
So I'm going against the live audience. Whoever's answer we see first for the question, that's who
exactly.
You're choosing. All right.
Exactly. And so, Nick, there is the potential
Hopefully I can
here.
beat the thousands of people.
Yeah, and there's the potential here, Nick, that you have to buy like 130 or 140.
So right now, 140.
Yeah.
Jeff, it'd be YouTube or Facebook, whoever comments first.
Yeah, we see both.
Yeah,
we see both.
we see everything.
We see everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, there will be both. And
I get to meet Jeff tomorrow.
Awesome. You've never met him?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I have. Hopefully I haven't.
And guess who I
feel bad.
Guess who I get to meet on Saturday?
Who?
Kent.
Oh,
You know
really?
Kent?
Oh, that's right.
Is he even in here tonight?
Yeah, I saw he commented. Yeah,
All right.
The Facebook comment.
So one of our fans from a different state is traveling to play Maple Hill, and they hit us up. And I've got a tea time. So that should be pretty fun as well. Totally cool. All right. So here we go.
I'm hoping everyone does really bad tonight, so I don't have to spend a ton of money on lunches.
All right, Nick. Here comes Judge That Disc Golfer.
Judge That Disc Golfer, the game show where you judge a disc golfer you've never met.
Hey man, my name's Matt, and what's your name?
Christian.
Christian. Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Tonight's guest, I'm not sure who it is, but my co-host Nick and our guests are going to try and guess your answers. So let's get to know you a little bit. How long have you been playing disc golf for?
Since 2006.
2006, so that's, if my math's correct, about 14 years.
Yep.
I've been playing about the same amount of time. What's your PDGA number?
60666.
Okay, and you have a PDGA rating, I'm sure.
Mhm.
What is that?
I believe it's 986.
Okay, Nick, if you're still the same rating, Nick, you're about 4 points better. So you're going to judge him pretty closely, Nick. All right, so let's get right to it here. Actually, no, before I get right to it, I didn't ask you enough. You've played in competitions. What's your biggest win or best finish at any tournament?
This year I took was it a B tier? C tier. It was a C tier. I took Pinnacle down this year in New Hampshire. It was pretty good.
Okay, what division was that?
Pro.
Pro Open. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a pro player here, Nick. And so let's just get right to it. How far can you throw a disc? Okay, Nick. So here's how it worked. He just finished, so I'm going to see the first distance that comes in. Okay, Todd, I see the first, and Nick's obviously seeing these. So, Nick, you're going to have to refrain from looking at the chat. We're going to let this one slide.
Just look away from it.
Because the reality is that's unfair. But so Todd came in. We're going to go ahead and take that. You probably already saw it. It is 450 feet, Todd guessed. So he's going first tonight. Okay. You're going to go second. And so what do you think is the answer here? Over, under on 450.
I'm kind of pumped because I know Christian pretty well. We've competed at a ton of events, and he's a friend of mine at this point.
Oh, so it's kind of an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked when I saw him on the screen. I was like, hey, I know that guy.
Okay, so how far does he throw?
I'm going to feel bad if I get it wrong, though. But I'm trying to think now. What did Todd say? Did you already say what he said?
Yes, we'll do this one, him first. Next one, you're going first, but 450 is what Todd said.
Okay, so I was going to say 425.
Okay, 425. Let's go ahead and get it up here and see if this goes to the audience or goes to Nick.
Max distance on flat ground. I'm going to say I'm just cresting over 500, just about 500.
Can you give us an exact number?
Say 515 if I crank on it.
515 feet. This goes to our live audience, Nick, with 450. So you guys,
now I feel bad because like I know he crushes. He throws further than I do, and like 515 is a long ways. Like
he says, if he gets it,
yeah. No,
it's not as regular.
Honestly, I could believe that though.
He throws further than Chris Dickerson.
He does crush it pretty good.
The difference is though, some people answer how far they can like get it in their max ever, best ever, and funny, Chris Dickerson was like,
I look at it like golf
like accurate.
Distance. Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I throwing on a golf course where I'm like, if the hole is this far, then I can probably park it. You know.
Okay, I mean? We've got people saying internet distance. Yeah. They're upset. People are upset, Nick, that you know him. It seems like it's cheating.
Well, clearly I'm 0-1 right now, so it's obviously not working to my advantage.
And to be fair, I don't screen who we interview. So if Nick happens to know them, he happens to know them. I did not know that. So, all right, awesome. The team, I see good job team coming in. Here we go. Question number 2. 515 feet. Awesome. All right, let's get into this next question. How many discs are in your bag?
You
got to go count, right?
Yeah.
All right, he says he's going to take a peek.
Yeah, I'm blocking the chat right now.
Yeah,
so
I'm keeping his eyes. I'm making sure he's not cheating.
Any of the,
all right, Nick, how many discs does he say are in his bag?
19. I'm gonna go with 19.
Okay,
but I know
you
it's
got
be
19,
more,
and the first
19.
answer I saw that came in after the question was read, which, by the way, the chat board is insane right now, is 22. And let me go scroll up here. It was to John NKY. So John 22 is what I saw come in. All right, so let's go.
I don't really know his bag, Doc. Not 100%.
All right, so let's go ahead and see what his answer is. You said 19. They said 22. So let's figure this out.
It's all up to John right now. Is he going to get it right?
Here we go.
Put the team on his back.
So currently I have 20 putters. 20
putters.
Currently I have 20 discs in my bag.
All right, 20 discs. That's the answer. Wow. So Nick,
I'm gonna have to take that one. I think
you just got it. Very close. One disc different. I like how he said 20 putters.
I almost said 21 too, because I was like, I feel like there's just gonna be 21. It's weird. How do you not carry 20 discs? Like, I'm at that point where
he had 4 putters, so that was another thing. So that
Yeah.
adds right up quickly. So, YouTube chat, what's winning here? So people are all over Facebook and YouTube. I see everybody. So,
Sully actually.
YouTube was the
22
quickest.
as well.
It seems like YouTube was the quickest to get in here. It's
Yeah,
insane.
maybe.
I will tell you that. They're coming in crazy. All right, so tied up. Here we go, Nick. Question number Trace. All right, we're going to jump to something here that would be really interesting to find out. We gave you 10 putters from Circle's Edge. On the Circle's Edge, so you're not jump putting, how many of those putters would go in? Okay, hold on.
I love how you.
Oh, I gave the answer. I wasn't quick enough on the draw. All right, so what we're going to do.
So I'm going to say 7, Matt.
The first answer that I saw come in, unfortunately, and we're just going to do it this way, was 8. So it's not really fair to give it to you.
We're not even going to count.
We're not going to count it. It was very close. I can't believe
Matt had a hiccup.
Happened. I'm trying to do too much at once, Nick. So it's still tied up, but we now know he says he'll hit 7 out of 10 from Circle's Edge. All right.
Very realistic. I love that.
Yes. Okay. I apologize. Man. Either way, the answer 8 was really close. I don't know what you would have guessed. What would you have guessed?
7 or 8. Honestly, 7 or 8.
So if 8 came in, you would have said 7.
9. Obviously, I don't think anyone's ever going to say 10. 9 is like really pushing it. If Dickerson didn't say 9, then
I think you're accurate. If I was to see how this played out, I would have saw the 8 come in. We're not going to give a point, but then you would have said, I'm not going to say 9. You would have said 7.
Exactly. If
it
the
probably
8 was
would have
the
went
first
to
one,
Nick.
I would have said 7.
But we're still tied up. Here we go. I just realized we're talking the whole time with a frozen screen up there. Okay, here we go. 7 putts would go in. Okay, so hole number 1, Maple Hill Gold. Which pro player is most likely to hit the ace? Okay, so hole 1 gold at Maple Hill. Which player is most likely to hit the ace? We are going to. Is it them, the live audience?
Let's give it to them because it should have been them on the last one first. So I'm gonna block it. I'm just gonna look at the TV screen. First
one that I see that came in, I have it from Max Sheets. I'm not gonna say the answer. Well, actually, we do, right? Yeah. Max Sheets says Simon.
All right, I'm gonna go double G. Garrett
double
Gerthy.
G's coming in. A lot of Simons, a lot of double G's.
Lunch money for Matt.
Money for Matt.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what he answers. You said double G.
I said double G.
The live audience says Simon. Here we go. Let's find out what happens.
Man, I've seen Simon throw really far at Jonesboro one year. I'm going to say Simon.
Oh. All right, Mr. Simon Lizotte.
Yep.
We love him on this show. We'll probably see him episode number 30. All right, Nick, that is another point for the live audience. Simon getting that hooray to the live audience. By the way, they're about 160 strong right now. Good. Thank you for joining the show. We saw a super chat come in. Thank you, Jeff. Totally appreciate that. Lunch money for me, it says, or for Matt, me. Yeah. And there's some people are complaining about lag. They're saying this is rigged now. All I can tell you is based off of what I see, it must be totally random, but we get it blasting all the answers. Okay, so it is it's not tied. Live audience 2, Nick 1. This is our last question.
Should we give the last one to a Facebook comment? Whoever comments first on Facebook.
We could. Or no.
All right.
Because Facebook can answer just as quick. It comes through on ours. It should be just about the same. Okay, here we go. Final question.
All right, let's get into disc golf tattoos.
Oh.
All right, now, do you have any tattoos?
I do.
You do. So, okay, do you have any disc golf tattoos?
Currently, no.
Okay, so if you were to get a disc golf tattoo, I'm going to give you 4 options. You can either get the individual single basket. You can get a basket with the putter hitting the front rim.
Ooh.
You can get the Tasmanian Devil 360 drive. Or you can get a disc golf phrase, maybe something like grip it and rip it or death putt. What would you choose?
It's kind of funny how you said that 360 drive. I've never heard anyone say it like that.
Yeah, well, how are you supposed to say it? 360 drive.
Yeah, 360 drive.
Yeah, 360
I've never
degree
heard
drive.
360.
So you gotta razz me or you gotta Taz me. Oh,
Yeah.
that was corny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Stop. Don't even. It's me first on this one, right?
Yeah. So what
I'm gonna
tattoo does he go
I'm
with?
gonna go with the putter hitting the front rim.
All right. Aaron is the first one that I saw come in. Aaron Dooley said Taz. So you said front rim?
Yep.
They said Taz. Okay. I will say this. I know the answer, and I'm going to give a shout out to Facebook because the Facebook answer I saw come in is correct. But regardless.
Is it just a single basket?
I just go with the basket.
The single basket.
Yep.
Awesome.
So a single basket is what won it. Facebook came in with the right answer, but either way, they win, Nick. The live audience wins. So let's just finish this out, and then we'll talk about that just a little bit more.
Just for the fun of it, what is the craziest thing you have ever seen or observed on the disc golf course?
At GMC, hole 18, someone ripped a huge Anheuser drive that came in and hit someone square in the back while we were hanging out next to 18's basket. That was pretty crazy.
All right, Christian, thanks for coming on the show. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
So, Nick, how do we break up a lunch between 161 people? I think we take about $10 and we divide that by 161.
So everyone gets, what, 16 cents?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. All right. Everyone, send me your Venmo. And everyone is getting 16 cents out of my Venmo. No. So I'm trying to figure out how I can actually do this. But
we could have people comment this week on YouTube.
Yeah.
And maybe whatever you want to do.
Well, I was gonna say, if say next year if I randomly see someone that's in our chat and you're just like, hey, by the way, you owe me lunch, I'll buy them lunch.
Oh, Nick, that's not a bad idea.
So it doesn't matter what state you're in. I'm gonna tour to a couple different spots next year. But yeah, Nick doing a grill out.
Dude, but you just said something. You're gonna have to be like, you're only doing it once. So if someone comes up to you after you've already done it, you're like, I already did that.
Well, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed if
Nick, our show is huge. There's millions of people.
If I go to Vegas next year, which I plan on going to Vegas, and someone who is in our chat says, hey man, by the way, you owe me lunch. Doesn't matter if they're from Vegas or not. If they just come up and say, hey, you remember episode 22? Yeah, you owe me lunch for that. I might just be inclined to buy them lunch. Buy them.
Wow.
I don't know.
Nick, that was kind of fun playing with our live audience.
Yeah, it was cool. I love the live audience. I love the engagement and everything like that.
I will say to those listening post, it might come a little weird, but would you just comment and let us know what you thought of it? It's different.
Yeah.
We won't do that every time.
We had a time crunch with Hailey, so we wanted to make sure that I'm sure you all wanted to have more conversation and listen to kind of her story through disc golf rather than judge that disc golfer. So it was a game time decision.
That's right. We wanted to let her get on the road, so we decided to just move along. So awesome. So here is what we're going to do. I already teased out, the segments earlier. We're going to do a USDGC recap. We're going to do Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship thoughts. If those interest you, stick around. We're just going to get to those right now. We're going to talk a little bit about players that deserve Player of the Year and maybe some honorable mentions as well. And then finally, Eagle McMahon threw out a few interesting social posts over the last week or so that we'll talk about. Thank you to the super chat from Green T1D. See you in Virginia. Come play Lake Marshall.
I've heard the craziest, like the best things about the Lake Marshall course. So I've been dying to get down there. I think at some point next year, when I do make my nice drive down to Virginia, I will happily try to stop there. The thing is, I haven't been able to stop at a lot of courses when I drive down to Virginia and back because I love night driving. So I usually leave 7 or 8 at night to try to get into Virginia around 4 or 5 in the morning. That's always how it's been. But there is a point where I'm going to try to get to Lake Marshall. So if I see you there, I'll buy you lunch, Green.
Awesome. So USDGC recap. I know some people are like, I've already listened to like so many podcasts and I've heard a lot of this, but
that's
like
the thing, because we're like 2 weeks late on it.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
Yeah.
We are not just copying what any other show does. So hopefully we bring you new content that you actually enjoy and appreciate. We have people that do comment and say, man, I drive a lot, or I love do a longer show. Believe it or not, do a longer show.
No kidding, right?
So let's just get right into it. So congratulations. And I don't, spoilers are not a thing with this event right now. It's so long past it. I know the video hasn't rolled out yet. But Chris Dickerson, congratulations to that man. Didn't you see a win coming for this guy? A big win.
Yeah.
So but he wasn't your pick because we both made picks.
He wasn't.
Oh, actually, he was your pick. Go back and listen to it. It was after day 1 or it was after day 2. We said make your picks, and I said Eagle.
Oh, and I said Dickerson. Yeah. Not knowing that Calvin was going to come out of nowhere and just completely almost change that. But yeah, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Yeah, so 2 rounds had already passed, and that's when Paul had kind of dropped off. So he was not out of contention completely, but definitely just a little bit more out of contention. So when we were talking about the people we really thought was going to do it, yeah, Dickerson became. He's just so methodical on the course, where he's very safe but aggressive at the same time. Like his max, or I shouldn't say, his distance shots are still very accurate and safe. So he can kind of break down USDGC in a very fun way. And honestly, he would have had 4 rounds under par by a large amount had the last day not been an absolute monsoon. And he had a pretty good lead to where he could make the mistakes that he made, which I think is pretty cool. It's got to be a nice feeling. And I'm pretty sure James Conrad did the same thing last year too, where they actually shot over par the last round. And it's got to be kind of a nice feeling where the last round of a major, you can shoot over par and still take home the win. Like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, he is methodical. And before we get into the Calvin situation, because that is both amazing and heartbreaking at the same time, we'll talk about that a little bit and what I mean by that. But torrential rain. Nick, I know you had the live package. Were you watching during the rain portion of the tournament?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a Elite Series, major, or anything else ever played in that much rain?
That much rain. See, it's funny because I forget exactly what I was doing that Saturday. I think I was actually playing a tournament and I was kind of casually watching it. That might have been it. But video doesn't do it justice on how much rain there actually was. But from the people that I've talked to who were at USDGC, they said it was just disgusting. Nothing was enjoyable about it and everything like that. So no, I've never seen that much rain on a course before. I've definitely not experienced that much rain.
I mean, I've filmed a Pro Tour event with it raining, but that made the rain that I filmed in look like literally monsoon.
Yeah.
Like they had extra people holding umbrellas. And do you see like the flooding area of the tee pads? Mm-hmm. The crew there, by the way, shout out to them at USDGC. There was a tee pad like over flooding, like massively. Mm-hmm. And see people like brooming and shoveling trails out for it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I don't think the drone was flying.
Yeah, it probably wasn't flying the last day.
And but you would see them like how if you're live right now, did you enjoy watching that? And I'm not gonna lie, I did. I loved seeing the elements. I know some will say it wasn't really fair, but I go, everybody in that portion of 6 holes had like the same deal.
Yeah, see, I like seeing that because I think it was Innova or the PDGA or someone, they had posted and they said, everyone's out here getting bogeys and Calvin Heimberg's eagling, like dropping eagles on hole 10. in a monsoon. And I'm just like, how? It's insane. Because Calvin just completely went off that round. And until hole 17, it was almost like Calvin's about to be the USDGC champ. Like, it was very close.
So we don't care too much about spoilers on the show too much. We're late enough in the week, and in this case, we're far enough out. But here is the part where I'm going to tell you a little bit about the details, but maybe not like how many strokes up and all that. But sure, Calvin was throwing to hole 17. And at that point, yes, he was, what was it, like 11 or 12 down?
Yeah, he was 1 or 2 up on Chris at that point.
And he throws his shot OB on 17. Everyone knows it's the one with the hay bales around the green, the basket precariously near the edge. And in Calvin fashion, just like we were talking about earlier, he calmly throws another shot onto the green.
Yeah.
Same shot. Like, what's the big deal? I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
He steps up to that putt and he's like, what was it? Like 40, 35?
Probably 35, 40 feet. Now, I was kind of thinking like, okay, he lays it up and he takes a 5. Brings it back to even. Him and Chris are even now. Chris still has to fight through hole 17. If he had laid it up, I thought that wouldn't have been a bad decision. But him going for the putt as well, I didn't think that was a bad decision because he's such a filthy good putter. So there's no doubt that he could have made that putt. I mean, he missed it right after too. So he missed it twice in a row, right?
So you're not judging his putt. Like, you're not like, man, you shouldn't have done that.
No, he got the worst roll away that he could have. Like, the worst thing that could have happened because he nailed the putt in the sense of he was right on line with it. He just shorted it where it hit the front rim, bounced up, landed on edge, and just rolled OB. Like, literally the worst thing that could have happened. And so then he had to go back and putt that same exact
what did he
spot,
do?
And then he missed that one.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not judging him on the putt at all because like
hindsight is 2020.
He makes that, and there's a potential that he's a USDGC champ.
For sure. I mean? Oh, for sure. Actually, I think I can't say hands down, but if he finished out like he did with the birdie on 18, and had he hit that putt,
yeah,
I think
he potentially becomes the
or
champ.
At the very least a playoff. At
Exactly.
the very least, that's how I saw it. So I honestly, and I'm just putting this out there, hot take, not really hot take. That is the worst result for a putt in a major that has ever happened.
Definitely one that means something.
That's what I mean.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure people have had awful rollaways in majors and stuff like that.
But did it matter?
For something exactly.
This was for a major title.
Yeah.
Worst ever. In fact, if the history of disc golf should continue on for a long time, that should be in the archives.
Yeah.
For worst major putt results.
Someone save it in 10 years post and be like, has there ever been a worse
like contention for a major championship, your first ever?
Yeah.
But
what do you think of hole 17? Because
well,
a lot of people
talked about this.
Yeah, we did a little bit. So I mean,
my thought is, and I'll say it again, I like the drama that it creates. Yeah. I think that it's not a hard shot, but it's so it's the element of like the walk to get there, where you stand in the tournament round.
Yeah.
And can you execute it in a pressure situation? Mm-hmm. I don't know that Calvin missed that because of a pressure situation, though.
No, I don't think it was that because Calvin's weird. I shouldn't say weird. Calvin's like Hailey in that sense, where I feel like they just go into this and they're just playing disc golf. They're not thinking of anything else that's going around. They're there to play some dang good disc golf.
And what about Chris Dickerson? Did you see his shot when he stepped up? He barely
just made it over, right?
Barely just made it over to where it was like, had he missed that, all bets were off. Yeah. Because now is he going to hit it again or not? Like the whole 9 yards.
And he just laid it up, right? He did like a safe run.
Yes, but he does a backhand. I think it was a backhand, and he kind of turned it over too much, where it was almost going to be on like a rolling edge, and it just cleared the hay bale.
It's so crazy that Calvin got that awful roll with how much water was on the ground. You would think that it would just kind of roll a little bit, and then it'd be so slow that it would just fall.
All right, so that was kind of the recap on USDGC. I'll just say it. Paul did not compete to his full potential at that event.
Yeah.
I still think he was favored. How could you ever not pick him? Ricky obviously played okay, but not to his full potential either. Our top 5 players, a few of them were there.
Shout out Kyle Klein. young kid, young gunner, making a really good run, and I think he was second place going into the last round. So that's pretty insane. But then at the same time that was going on, the U.S. Women's National Championships was also going on. Shout out Paige Pierce. She ended up taking down the win with Katrina Allen in second place. And Katrina had actually made a pretty good run at the end.
Yeah.
The last round, she was doing really well and just low-key putting a little pressure on Paige. And Paige was making some small little mistakes. Like I think on hole 14 from the FPO pad, they had this slight little downhill hyzer. And a lot of the women do a standstill on it. And I remember Paige was just short of it. And Kat was also just short of it. And it was kind of a big moment for Kat to where it was like, if I run this putt and I make it, that's a huge momentum swing. Or if I run this putt and go long, it's a hazard. And so now you're taking a 4 or 5, maybe even a 6, depending on the roll that's after that. Kat did the smart thing. She actually just laid it up, and Kat did really well the last round. She definitely did a really good. She put a good push on it, and but shout out to Paige. She killed it all weekend like usual.
Yeah, I did a quick like I did for Hailey, where I said, "Hey, your last 13 events, you averaged 982 or whatever." I did that for Paige, and guess what she averaged in the last 13 events rounds?
992.
999.3. So like literally the last 13 rounds have averaged just, I mean, like literally split a hair under 1,000.
That's insane.
So she is.
What's her rating now? Do you remember?
990.
Is it 991 or 994?
991.
I think it's 991, right?
So Hailey right now is like 9 behind that.
Is Hailey in the 980s?
982.
Really? I didn't even know that. Jeez.
Oh wait, yeah. Yeah.
I want to look that up now.
No, hold on. That's what she. Sorry,
that's what she
averaged over 13.
I think she's still in the mid 960s, maybe.
Yes, 967, I think.
Yeah.
But the point is, and I see her rating going up because again, you look at the last 13 rounds. That was my point. She averaged 982. And so that's very significant. And then she took down with the same rate. Well, I'm jumping into the next event. I'll hold on to that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say really quick. My 2 favorite battles to watch for the FPO players this year were GMC, where it was Hailey and Paige, and then obviously the Pro Tour finale, where it was Hailey and Paige. And it was just, I mean, Katrina was dominating the last round, and I still haven't watched the post-round production yet, and I didn't get to see everything happen live until the playoff. But I think Kat had taken like an 8 on hole 17, and I don't really know how that happened yet. Like I haven't watched it. But
you're talking Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump to that in just a second, and that is a tease out there. That is, we're gonna get to that segment. So, does anybody follow Eagle McMahon on social media? And I asked that because he kind of wrote an interesting social post in regards to USDGC, and this is what he said: "What if USDGC was in the springtime, and the final event of the year was the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale, and it was a major?" Wow. Okay. The Disc Golf Pro Tour would still be an invite-only event. Now, that'd be interesting. A major that's only an invite.
Well, that's how USDGC is for the most part.
Sorry. Yeah, that is how it is. Yeah, it is. You have to qualify. Yeah. The Disc Golf Pro Tour would still be an invite-only event for a slightly larger field and be a normal, this is interesting, a normal 4-round event, meaning that there are 4 majors and they are more intermittently scheduled. He said, obviously, there are many logistics involved I have no control over, but hey, I'm brainstorming. And can I say this, Eagle? If by chance you are watching or listening to our show, I can appreciate very much the candor or whatever, how you write this up to where you're wanting to share your opinion, but you're doing it in a way that's very easy to conversate and not be attacking. I think it was excellent. Nick, what do you think about that in general?
It's so weird because I don't want to think of this as a point where like, oh, I don't like change, so keep USDGC at the end of the year like it's been the whole time. But I do think change is good in disc golf. I would feel kind of weird with a major being too early in the season. I kind of like the beginning of the season is kind of a warm-up for the professionals to where they have a couple big events, some pro tours, some national tours happening. And then more often than not, Worlds or European Open is the first major of the year, I think. I want to say that, but it's been a while since we've had a 4 major year. So at the same time, it's like if you do have 4 majors, how do you do that? Do you do June is Worlds, July? Because see, I would do June or July European Open. I would do. No, see, now that's way too much.
But here's kind of the question though, and I saw Greg Barsby commented, I saw Jordan Castro, I saw Joel Freeman, touring players. A lot of them said, "Awesome, I love this idea," because majors, a lot of players make that a major part of their tour. Yeah. Like major is a major. So, if it's too close together, it can really cramp the whole touring plan and how it works. So, like,
no, I agree with that.
Does stretching out, because I think this comes up because the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, is like what, the next week. It's right after. And so does that make sense? I mean, at the very least, separating them. Should we see a separation?
Why wouldn't that make sense? Why not do that? 2 big back-to-back tournaments where it's like, but you know, Chris Dickerson, won 20 grand pretty much in 2 weeks? It's pretty insane.
But don't you think that I do not see USDGC saying, okay, fine, we'll move. Do you see that happening?
But why would you can't put the Pro Tour Championships anywhere else because you have to qualify throughout the Pro Tour events throughout the year.
But where is the benefit besides keeping the players happy, which is a very strong one? But where is the benefit to Innova, the owner of USDGC? I know we can say that, well, yeah, but they have to coordinate with PDGA. That's true, but they own the title. Why would they say we're going to take an event that's been running for how long? 25 years? 30 years? 25?
Yeah.
Why are they going to take an event and say, okay, fine, we'll just move it to spring now? Like, after all these years, like, there's going to have to be something significant. Maybe it's the people's voice. I don't know. But Disc Golf Pro Tour, exactly. That's an event that's a culmination of an Elite Series tour. You can't move that earlier in the year, but you could move it back further. But that would also, like, people want their season to be done.
It potentially would have been back to back to back had the National Tour still been a thing this year. With the National Tour Championships potentially in Delaware.
Everybody needs to just get on the same scheduling platform.
Well, I think for next year they are.
Yeah, I saw
next year's tour schedule looks insane. I think it looks very beneficial for the touring disc golfer. But this is cool. Daniel Willis said tennis, it's January, June, July, and September for their majors. Where would be the best place in the U.S. to play a major in February or March? You know what I mean?
Florida,
but at the same time, would tennis technically, you can train for tennis indoors,
or like Hawaii?
You can't.
They have courses out there.
They do. You can't fully train for disc golf indoors. Tennis, you can train indoors. So to go out and play a tournament in January in tennis, that's doable. I feel like, because you can find a warm area and you've obviously been in stride the whole time. But I don't know. At the same time, people are commenting Vegas, North Carolina. What course, or excuse me, Vegas, Arizona, North Carolina, SoCal. What courses are you using for that major? Like, what major is going to happen at those courses? I don't know a major championship level course in Arizona. I don't think the Vegas courses are major level championship courses. So, I mean, dude, when I went to Vegas 2 years ago or last year, whenever it was like 48 degrees in February.
Okay.
So I'm all set with
sorry to
there.
cut you off. 2 things. One, Australia. They did have a major before. So
Yeah.
Australia, I know that's a lot of
15
travel.
and 17.
Okay, the other thing is, we would be remiss not to shout out Chuck Kennedy, the creator of the PDGA rating system, jumped in our comments, and he said players would have to qualify in the previous year for USDGC, which wouldn't be based on current performance. But if it is in the spring, it's kind of current performance to how they finished out, which I think I would say that's acceptable. But that's just my opinion. But shout out, thanks Chuck for being in here. Bermuda, yeah, I thought Bermuda as well. I love Bermuda. I got to spend 3 weeks there once. Awesome. Let's move on in this USDGC quick topic here, real quick, because UltiWorld, I know they are quote unquote a competitive podcast platform, but I don't care. If you like us better, you like them better, I don't care. But here's the deal. They wrote up a post and it's behind a paywall. So I'm literally taking their clickbait title and it says, the Winthrop Gold Course does not reflect the future of disc golf. We do not need to hold premier events on temporary courses placed on borrowed land. This comes up every year for a reason.
Yeah.
The property is a problem. Now, that's their clickbait title behind a paywall. I'm not slamming that. Go support them if that's, I think that's a disc golf supporting thing to do. If you'd like to read their thing, I'm only using it as a launching platform to have this discussion. Nick, what do you think about that in your own opinion? About the course needs to change?
I've said this for a while now with close friends in the disc golf community. I definitely think it needs to change. I think that any course where a company is spending a disgusting amount of money to be able to host a tournament at that course, it needs to change because you're spending money on something that could be going to something different. There are other courses out there where you could have major championship style tournaments at, and to waste a ton of money on just renting out land for a few weeks, however long they rent it out for,
do you know
I'm not really
what
sure.
Do you know what that costs? Any ideas? Or is it all?
I want to ballpark this. From what I heard,
it.
It's either Wild Horse or USDGC when they borrow the land from
Wild
Winthrop.
Horse. I heard, yes.
I heard it's. I could be totally off on this.
$250,000.
I heard 300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard $300,000 it costs to rent out the courses.
So you ready for my take on this?
Go for it. That's insane.
Yes. So I'm going to say, and I do not know the insides of Innova. My son is a sponsored athlete. I am not. I don't have to be as careful about what I say. But they make enough money. Mm-hmm. They make enough money at Innova where they could, whether it was a business decision or not, they could literally buy property somewhere down the south. It's not as expensive as the north.
Yeah.
They could buy 40 acres and literally over the next 3 years, I'm just going to give them 3 years.
Yeah.
Bring in a course designer, whoever, the best in the world, or they can keep it for themselves.
Yeah.
And why don't they make their own United States Disc Golf Championship course? They can literally create every single hole with a vision in mind. And I honestly don't think that's that crazy of an idea. Paul Macbeth, the best player in the world, is like, I'm going to buy property and put a course on it, and I'm going to make it exactly how I want. Why are we still? Is it because of the quote unquote prestigiousness that it's the aura of that venue? Or is it like, is there something else happening there?
I do think that there's an incredible sentimental value to playing the USDGC at Winthrop Golds. Because there's history with that. But at pretty much all points, history needs to change at a certain point. And Paul and I have talked about that before with a lot of the major companies you can buy land in Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, I'm sure. All these areas you can buy land for so cheap. Up here in Massachusetts, 1 acre is like $50,000 right now. It's insane. So, but when you go down south and you can get an acre for, let's say $5,000 to $10,000, now you're realistically talking where you could build a massive course, and then you have it for yourself for years and years. These major companies have the money to be able to do that. It's just the time and effort that gets put into it. I don't know. Is it easier to just drop $300,000 and rent out a course that's already there?
I don't think so.
I want to say no.
I'm not bashing.
I feel like that's a huge waste of money.
I'm not going so far as to say that spending the money on the course that they're doing right now is a waste of money. I think it's a lot of money, but I'm not saying a waste. What I'm saying is they could afford, in my opinion, to take whether they had to do a loan or they have it, and just go ahead and start investing. Invest in their own property.
Yep.
Tradition comes up. We're seeing that in the comments. People think I'm getting really worked up right now, and I'll tell you what, I'm a passionate opinion speaker. And I think that I guess my point is, I see tradition, and people who know me personally know that Matt's like, throw tradition out the door. That's not quite it.
Yeah.
I just say, I like tradition, but only if it serves a real purpose. Mm-hmm. And that purpose can be, and I saw somebody write this, it's important for the sport to have a tradition, a long-standing tradition.
Agreed.
I can buy into that. But is it that important where at this point in the history of the sport, when now it's literally just like it's starting to blow up, is it now or never? In 20 years, are we going to look back and be like, why is that place like on this venue with like ropes and like it's so people maybe it'll always stick as like nostalgic and it's awesome. Maybe that will be.
There's definitely nothing wrong with playing a course that's wide open like that. And I think there are times where certain areas where they've put the ropes haven't been in the best places. Like sometimes it's kind of overkill, but for the most part, it's not a terrible course. The holes are fun. From the times that I've played it, I know some pros don't care for it at all. Some pros just want to play in the woods the whole time. But I think disc golf is going to get to a point to where we are playing more open courses, and the fact that open courses are the most spectator friendly. And if we're trying to grow the sport, especially at the professional level when it comes to spectators live in person, then open courses are going to do a lot better than what we normally do. So could I see more courses and more tournaments slowly transitioning to that style. I mean, look at the Santa Cruz, the Masters Cup. For years and years and years, they only played De La Vega disc golf course. And then now they added that golf course into it to where De La Vega is awful for spectators, it looks like. Now the golf course, everyone can go to it. It's wide open. So I don't know. There's
I just still
hella tradition out there that I feel like would be hard. Why exactly? Like you said earlier, why would Innova want to do something different at this point? I don't know.
I don't know. And some people think that I'm passionately like bothered by this. I can throw on the antagonist play real quickly here, and that's not saying I don't see a good argument there, because here's the deal. DD spent, and I think the numbers were in, let's say, close to $150,000 for CBS coverage. If I know that's an investment in commercial for their company, but like these companies, I feel like they could hire a designer and buy a piece of property. I'll say it again. And why doesn't somebody now, Todd Rainwater, the owner of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, okay, a lot of money in that guy's pockets or wherever he stores it. He could do it. And in fact, he did do it on Nantucket, the island where all the millionaires and billionaires live. He did invest and put a course in. I'm saying, why don't more people, the people who have the funds, put it in, design courses specifically for disc golf, amazing venues. I'm not saying go do your typical venue. I'm saying do the whole, why am I having a brain freeze? The course designer.
John?
Yes, thank you, John Alk. I'm sorry, John. Why don't you have someone like him? Did you ever go up and play Hillcrest up in PEI? Amazing venue. Grass fairways through the woods. It's just, anyways, I'll get off of that. So here's where we're jumping, Nick. We're just going to wrap that up. People are saying there's violins playing in the background and all that. I enjoy I enjoy the humor tonight, everybody. So, okay, Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship thoughts. Kevin Jones, spoiler.
Spoiler, oh my gosh.
Kevin Jones and Hailey King take it down.
Sports.
We already knew Hailey King took it down.
Yeah.
We brought her in tonight.
We kind of spoiled that.
So here were the final four. MPO, Jones, Dickerson, Heimberg, Hannum. Did you have these guys? Did you do the grip 6 pick or whatever it was?
I didn't. I wish I did, but I didn't get to do it. I mean, Jones, Dickerson, Heimberg. So 3 out of 4, I would have said, yeah. Austin Hannum was that dark horse who just played great and snuck right in there, and it was super cool to see because he's a fellow Discraft guy and he's also a super cool dude. So yeah, that was cool seeing him on the final round.
Yeah, real quick interjection here. I saw a live comment says Nick and Matt should have CK. I'm assuming he means Chuck Kennedy on the show. Go back and look at about episode 6
or 7.
Yeah. We did have him on the show. Go check that out. Awesome show.
Yeah.
All right. So
one of our longer ones too.
One of our longer ones, and in depth on the rating system. So I did not have those guys in my top pick. I did have Macbeth. I had Wysocki. I think I had Eagle and Calvin. I might have had Dickerson in there. I don't remember, but it wasn't this top.
Dickerson I would have put into it only in the sense that he's back-to-back champion for the event. So definitely, obviously, he knows how to play Hornet's Nest, and so that's a definitely safe pick. If I had done the thing, I would have picked Paul. Eagle, I probably wouldn't have picked for this tournament. KJ has been kind of hit or miss this year at tournaments. I might have picked him though. Heimberg, I probably would have definitely picked Paul and Heimberg, and then my other 2 picks would have been 2 random people.
Yeah. Well, I just thought this format was interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about the format, but before we do that, let's talk about the FPO, the top 4, final 4, were King, Pierce, Allen, and Fakis. Okay, and if we go to the MPO, we say Hannum was kind of like the underdog that made it in, dark horse, and then Fakis,
Lisa,
more the underdog, dark horse to make it in.
I would say so.
And her last round really didn't shine.
No, it
unfortunately.
didn't. And she had said that on Facebook over the last few days. I forget exactly what day she came out with it, but she came out with a post saying, she was disappointed in the way she played. She really feels like Hornet's Nest can suit her game very well, but she just couldn't put it together. So she was bummed out about it, but we all know she's a good player. That round definitely didn't reflect. But what's kind of cool about the format that was is you're literally just playing against them. So if you're back 7 strokes with 9 holes to play or whatever, you're kind of going balls to the wall at that point. And she might have done stuff that she normally wouldn't have done because she was in a cool position. to where, okay, I'm pretty much at this point out of contention for the win. Now I can either, do some really cool things or, show myself that I can battle back. So she was in a weirdly kind of cool position to potentially do those kind of things. But
it's a totally unique format. It doesn't happen anywhere else in our sport. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about the format. But I just wanted to point this out. Today I was perusing social media like I do often. And Ricky Wysocki made a post approximately 3 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said
something. Saw that, yeah.
Yeah, something along the lines of, the idea is, hey, I had the physical game ready, I had the mental game ready, and then he says sometimes unexplainable things happen in sports, like more or less me not making the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laughing to myself, Nick, because can you imagine being that good? Like you, Nick, you're like, unexplainable things happened, and I didn't make the Final Four. I'm going, it would be unexplainable things happened.
If I did the Final Four.
I'm not that good. So that's pretty funny to me. Not funny, but that's just where his mindset is at. Can you imagine, Nick, literally being that good where in anything, majors or whatever, you're like,
I should be on that every single time.
And it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable if I'm not in the Final Four.
It's got to be a pretty cool position, but at the same time, it's got to be a pretty, mentally demanding position to where you're at every single one of these tournaments every other week, and you think to yourself that you should be on the lead card or you should be winning that tournament every single week. And so after 3 or 4 weeks in a row where you didn't win or you didn't make the lead card, now how do you feel? Because you're off your game a little bit. Mentally, that's got to be a little bit crippling. So I kind of want to, I don't know. Obviously, I want to go to a tournament and win that tournament. That's the reason I play disc golf, and that's the reason why I enjoy the sport so much. But yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the details of this how it played out. Largest payout in history of disc golf. And what's interesting, Nick, is this is actually, I'm talking full purse payout, Nick. Like I think, I want to say it was Ledgestone or something else. I didn't look into this detail, but I saw the numbers, and realistically, it's like $130,000 payout, and they had the win of largest purse by like $120, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's purse. Obviously, now we move on and we say largest individual payout ever was at the Disc Golf Pro Tour with $20,000. We talked to Jeff Spring right before, and he told us he was going to try to.
Yeah. Because originally it was at 15 grand? It was at
15,000.
It was at 15,000, and then he said he was like with a very high potential that it's going to be even more. Who was the final company? Was it Grip 6 that put in that final push, or
Bushnell?
Was it Bushnell?
I don't know now who it was.
Yeah, now I kind of forget. I want to say
that's too bad.
6. I know, right? Now people are going to roast
it's
me
either
for not
Grip
knowing.
6 or Bushnell, but
I think it was one of them.
I think it's Grip 6. I'm going to say Grip 6. That's my final answer. Do I win a lunch? Okay.
No.
So here, but the largest payout to this point, before
people are saying Grip. So is it just Grip equipment bags?
Grip 6. No. I don't know. I'm getting all my things wrong. Yeah. Grip 6. Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, $20,000 payout.
The largest insane. Before that event was USDGC and a Worlds. Okay?
2009.
Okay. So they're about $15,000 payout. To beat it by 5,000 is pretty significant. The $20,000 mark. What does this large of a payout do for the sport, Nick? What do you think it does for the sport? I have my feelings, but you go ahead and give yours.
I think it puts a very high expectation for next year's tournaments. I think tournament directors who are running these big national events need to do more in the sense of, and I'm not a tournament director, so I don't ever want to think that I don't want people to think that I don't appreciate what tournament directors do. But I think if the Pro Tour was able to do this, then other tournament directors should also be able to do this. Now, the way that the Pro Tour is set up, though, is differently, and the way their payouts are. I think the PDGA needs to change the payout structure. But that's a whole nother topic, obviously, because we pay out, 40% of the players? I do think that number should be less.
Well, now, this is really interesting topic that I'm not actually prepared to talk about.
I'm not prepared to talk about it fully right now, but I wish we would have more golf
they were sanctioned.
Payouts.
Were they sanctioned with the PDGA for this championship?
I never looked at ratings.
I looked at the ratings. They're there, and it says Elite Series.
Mm-hmm.
My question would be, did the Disc Golf Pro Tour actually meet the guidelines? Because each round paid out significant amount. or was it not an actual sanctioned tournament, but the PDGA wants it on their list? I don't know.
The PDGA might put it on their list, but I don't know. Maybe the ratings won't count in a future time once everything.
They do show up in the rating histories.
You can see it in the rating history because like it's been like that for USDGC in the years that those ratings didn't count. You can still see what the player shot as a rating, but they don't count.
So
you'd have to look at the ratings detail.
As I mentioned, I'm not really prepared to talk about it, but that was an if I come up with that, I'll bring it up another point. But this large of a payout, it's going to be on ESPN. I'm kind of jumping ahead here a little bit before we do that, but it's going to be on ESPN. Do you think it's like better for the sport to show that like, hey, there's a $20,000 prize for first, 10 for second? Like, what does that do?
I think that sounds more appealing than saying, hey, yeah, the winner at this national tour event won $4,000. Like it's funny. I've told so many people like, I got a cousin who, kind of laughs at me with my disc golf life and everything, but he does it in a joking way.
Yeah.
And he asked me, what's one of these guys win at a tournament? Say Maple Hill. I always use that as kind of a reference, but the MVP Open, top player won $4 or $5 grand to win the tournament. To win a pro tour event, they made $4 or $5 grand. So it was kind of like, I don't want to say laughable because it is good money. Don't get me wrong, it is good money. And if you are consistent,
I'll take it.
If you're consistent to where you can win that a couple times a year, then yeah, that's okay money for you. But at the same time, there are a pretty good amount of people that can work full time doing a different type of job. Obviously, disc golf's incredible. People would kill to be able to do that full time. But there are people who can make a better living, like say working construction or working, at some sort of different job. So when you say now the winner to the Pro Tour finale won $20,000, then yeah, that can kind of turn heads. I would feel like.
I just watched again. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I know that's one of the largest platforms for viewing content like this. I was watching some. It was like I don't know the wording for it. It was some type of like cyclocross where these players were hitting jumps and doing tricks, and it was really cool. It was a live production. And I was trying to take in because it seemed on a similar playing field to the production value of a disc golf tournament, and their top prizes were going to be $25,000 and whatever it was for second and third. But I was like, man, we're finally getting closer to where even bicycling, which is a huge sport, we're getting on the same playing field as that. And it actually seems respectable to where in the sport, if you say I can win 20,000, I think if we get to $25,000, that'll be huge. But like, as you said, and I think this is really important to take away, Nick, other tournaments now are going to be dwarfed. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be like, oh, come to my event. You can win $3,000. Now, I'm not talking about the local B's and C's.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like national.
We're talking
tours
national
or majors.
touring events. Yeah, this is definitely not to the C tiers, the B tiers, and the A tier tournament directors. A tiers, I think, should obviously have a special requirement. B tier, same thing. It's got to be, I think, at least $750 out of cash. But we're not talking about C tier and B tier tournament directors at all in this conversation. If you do a lot for your tournaments, wherever you go, that's incredible. And kudos to you. I'm glad you're doing that year after year. But for touring disc golf events, yeah. And what's going to be crazy is that I wouldn't be surprised if next year it's $25,000.
Right. But imagine the next major now that comes up and they're like, we're giving away $8,000. It's like, you're a major. And all of a sudden the Disc Golf Pro Tour just stepped the game up and making everybody else look bad.
Well, take a look at USDGC. For the last 10 years, their payouts have been pretty stagnant to where it's, $10,000 this year, $9,000 this year, $12,000 this year, $11,000 this year. It's like, how is it ever less than the next year? Like, usually tournament entries increase. And that's every tournament. Same thing with Worlds. I know Worlds changes courses, Worlds changes tournament directors and everything like that, but I feel like we're at a point where for a touring level event, you're pretty much going to fill up your event. So there's no issue with getting the people there. It's how is the payout less than the year prior?
So, I agree. I want to give a shout out to this live comment because I think this is excellent point. Mark Murphy, live commenter, bigger purses drive people to practice harder and earn their keep as a player, not a sponsored athlete. I want to take a second to let that soak in because imagine this, Nick, if you could be good enough to go and play that event and win it. As Hailey King just said, $20,000 changes her whole next year touring schedule plans. if you can go and win an event, granted, maybe the sponsorships are getting you there and you don't want to just throw them in the dust. But the point is, if the sport gets to this place where imagine there was a $20,000 prize or even a $10,000 prize every other week and you were competing at a high level, you could just go and you could earn your living.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different sport. It's on its way. Thank you, Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I just believe
Huge
that.
shout out to everyone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Everyone who makes that
people
happen.
wonder where the money comes from. I told you there's Daddy Big Bucks or whatever you want to call them backing it. But I
the
think
staff is doing insane.
Yes. When I say that, I don't mean to undermine.
I think Todd obviously fronted a huge portion of it.
He bought it.
Yeah, exactly. And he was able to put things in motion that weren't in motion before, that was not in motion before. But that also
now it's self-sustaining.
Yeah, but now you have Jeff Spring. You have all these different people who are just so gung-ho to make this bigger and better that I honestly, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a $25,000 finish next year. And someone else, some other newcomer into the sport might win that. And then, their next year of touring has completely changed. You know, there are people where, you could win $1,000 at an event and that saves your butt. Because that gives you another 2 or 3 weeks of touring. And then you go to that next event, you win another $500. Okay, now you got a week or two more of touring. That's how a lot of disc golfers are living right now, to where cashing at events is the most important thing in their game right now. So to go to an event and potentially win $20,000, $10,000, $5,000, or $3,800, whatever it was, that's huge. It's not huge compared to other sports. I understand that, but it's beyond huge in disc golf.
Yeah, and I'll just say it one more time before we move off of this payout topic, is just imagine with me a disc golf world where, again, the payouts are significant. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, top 10 or whatever, getting significant. Let's say the 10th player gets like $2,000 or even $5,000. Let's say eventually gets to that point. You know what it does? It makes the players who could win compete as hard as they can because they want that. Mm-hmm. And you know what else it does? It inspires those who are on the fringe going, I can go for this and win a big payout. And they're going to try harder. And you're going to bring the whole sport up with it.
Yeah.
All right. So we already talked a little bit about what the payout does for winners. Let's talk about what it came down to for the MPO on hole 17. I don't know if you watched live or if you caught it, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Spoiler, Chris Dickerson lined up his putt on 17. I don't remember if it was for bogey or not. But
for birdie.
Okay. But it was to get a stroke.
It was to gain a stroke, yeah.
Okay. And he misses probably 20 foot, maybe less, maybe a little more. It's right there. 20 feet. Yeah. Literal.
Yeah.
Air ball. Nothing.
Wide right.
It
was kind of like, bro, what was that?
Well, Nick, have you ever tried to take a putt for $10,000?
No.
Or 20 again, but we're saying the difference is 10,000?
No. Have I ever airballed a 20-footer when it didn't even matter, though? You're dang right I have. Am I going to airball a 20-footer again in my life? You're damn right I am.
I'd love to get Chris on the show. Well, we've had him on the show, but not live.
No,
So
soon enough.
He missed that putt, and that was right after Kevin missed his putt. And I'm like, man, they both missed putts, and then they both hit their comebackers. Mm-hmm. Going into the final hole, Dickerson steps up, and I'm just playing this out in dramatic form.
Yeah.
And he's thinking to himself, whoever gets the 2 here
pretty much wins.
Oh, wait. Oh, man, I'm having brain freeze. They were tied. Yeah.
Yeah, they were tied.
And he's like, I'm just going to put it there. But you know what the mistake is exactly what he did. That corner that sticks out on hole 18.
Yep.
You're going to try to go for it, and you're going to do it. You're going to cook it over.
Turn it over, or if you grip lock it just a little bit, then you are stuck in jail.
What kind of an advantage do you give Kevin Jones to be throwing second on that card being tied?
Huge advantage. See, it's so funny because we do a lot of match play, and it's funny. There are times where I'm like, oh yeah, I want that guy to go first, or yeah, I want to go first on this one. And for Kevin, the best possible outcome came to where you kind of want to be the one to set the tone, and then let the person behind you make the mistake. But then the person in front of you now, he made the mistake. So Kevin's like, oh, I'm just going to take old trusty, that red D2, I think it is. Throw it on a hyzer, let it flip up to flat, get as close as I can to the basket. Doesn't matter if you're 50, 40, 30 short of it, because more than likely if you get a 3 on it, you're going to a playoff more than likely because Chris might be able to get out. But now Chris has a chance for bogey. Kevin has the easiest part in the world. Kevin just has to throw one shot in the middle and bounds and then lay it up, and then he's got a 3. So
I feel like you're right. You typically want to be the one to set the pace.
Yeah.
But in that situation, and maybe it's hindsight, but here's the thing. If Dickerson parked it, then Kevin knows what he has to do.
Yeah.
And if Dickerson doesn't park it, then Kevin knows I can either go safe here and just push it to a playoff, or I can go for it, and that's his own call. I feel like the second place was an advantage in that situation.
I think you could argue the fact, and you know what I mean? Like with everything we do. But there are opportunities where, you want to be first, or there are opportunities where, you want to be second. But like I said, I think for Kevin teeing off second, the best possible outcome for him happened to where Chris grip locked it into the woods. Now he's not doing it. So Kevin can be like, look, I've parked this hole every single time I've ever thrown it. So I'm going to put it right under the basket and just end this no problem. Or he can throw a good shot and still have an easy 3 to where more than likely it's going to win it.
Okay, 2 thoughts on that final hole, not with how it played out, but 2 thoughts. Did you happen to see Philo's drive that hit the basket and rolled outside of the circle? On that, dude, it's unfortunate. Just like Calvin's roll away. Now, granted, it wasn't for like winning or moving on. Philo wasn't having the greatest round, but it was kind of like that redemption. Like, okay, I'll step up to hole 18. He throws it, dude, and it hits the elevated basket bottom, like not hard. Like it's a perfect drive, perfect.
Yep.
Comes in, it hits it.
Oh, it's skipping. Hit
it kind of it must have been right at the same time, and it does this reverse roll, and it rolls literally out to like 35 or 40 feet.
Oh no. Did he make the putt?
You should see him slouch his shoulders so far and be like, he's shaking his head like, I can't believe that.
No.
Like, that's just how the day's going. And
that's
then
such a bummer.
What else happened on that hole? Oh, so like Calvin hits the huge putt there.
Yep.
Or how about Simon's vlog?
Simon's vlog was pretty sweet. The spoiler splash out ace that he had.
Can you spoil vlogs now?
No.
So
I just feel like you got to put spoilers so people can't get mad.
Oh, they can get mad at us, Nick. It's okay. So Simon, the point is that hole was pretty cool. It seemed kind of easy, but not to it.
Yeah, I think
it was easy to get the 3.
It was over 400 feet. Yeah,
I'm getting the 3 like every time, Nick, probably, because I'm not going for the 2.
If there's not OB short, then I think like I don't know. I don't really know the whole.
OB short. Was that a diss at me?
No, no. I think the hole was kind of like I don't like easy hole 18s, especially at top level events. Like I like,
Do you call that easy? Is the point? I guess.
Well, I mean, if I'd be curious to see what the whole
2
averaged.
is not very high.
But how often is the 4? If you go OB long on that hole,
there weren't very many 4s.
That's what I mean. So it's probably pretty easy to par it. You have to do what Chris did. Shank it into the woods to the right or early release it left.
There was OB long, like past the basket.
Yep. Which I know some people did hit. And
I do think that hole could get put a little bit. Yeah, I think it could be made a little bit better for sure. I do think they're trying to put that pressure on. We're going to make this tough to get the 2, and hopefully somebody has to go for it. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What'd you think? Do you like that format in general?
I think the format's really cool. I think it's a cool change of pace. Do I think it's the best format to have a $20,000 prize purse on? Sorry, I'm not sure yet, but I do like the format. I think it's cool. It's weird. I'd almost rather it where no one gets a bye. Like you have the 32 players and you play it like that, and then after the first round, the top 8 people. So now you got you got 16 people who make it, and then 8 people, then 4 people, and then whoever wins out of the 4 at the end wins the whole thing. So I'd rather that to where there's no buys or anything like that. I think that would be a cooler format because then you have people like, say Paul had won it this year. Paul would have had to start from the quarterfinals to make it, or excuse me, the 32 to the Sweet 16 to the Elite 8, Final 4, and then win the tournament. So you're talking he would have had to play a perfect weekend to win it. Same thing, Kevin Jones.
So no buys. You're thinking I think everybody plays the same thing.
Yeah.
Is there an advantage for how the Pro Tour points play out?
Yeah. So I think for money, like the National Tour does it, where the top 10 people of the National Tour get, let's say 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, on and on and on and on. I think that would be kind of cool to where the Pro Tour points that you accumulate throughout the year.
They did do that award ceremony. That did do something for Pro Tour points.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. But at the same time, let's just take the top 32 people so that they all compete against each other. I don't know. I think there are cool ways you can do it. I do think the way the Pro Tour did it was a pretty cool way, but I think there are potentially ways to make it better. Because if Kevin made it off of a bye strictly like straight into the semifinals, he could have played one bad round, but still advanced to the next round. Now he's in the finals, and then he plays one great round. So it's kind of like you reward him for playing great all season to where you made it to the semifinal, or you get a bye to go right into the semifinals. You played okay the first round, and now you played great the second round. You won $20,000. Hoorah. But at the same time, I'd rather see someone have to play 4 or 5 rounds and win $20,000.
So there's always been complaints, if you will. I call them complaints. That might be harsh, but complaints about how the championship played out. But I think I actually enjoyed previous years when Steve Dodge ran it to where it was like you actually played against your card. Everybody I
like that too,
and
yeah, I really
you
like
win.
that.
You win your card, and you move up. You win your card, and then there was some wild cards. So like if by chance someone on your card also shot extremely hot and technically beat out every other card, they could still make it in because there's a wild card.
I remember Peter McBride back in 2016 shot like a 14 down at Fox Run or 15 down, and was the dark horse. He made it, into the next round because he shot the hot round.
So I like that. I don't know. There's probably downsides to it, but as a spectator, I actually enjoyed that. Like the fact is, like if they had camera coverage, they could jump over to this card, and you're like, this is the battle on this card, and this is the battle on this card. It was fun to watch, but I felt like it was a little, I don't know. Some of the rounds to me, and maybe I'm just like thinking out loud here, seemed a little boring. Like in the early rounds, it was just kind of like, like who's probably going to win this? I guess it was cool to see someone light it up.
I think for an event like this, you can't just have live coverage for one card. Because if you only have 3 cards going out, like say
they moved around a little.
They moved around a little bit, but I'd rather almost have, live coverage of all 3 cards because there's only a couple cards going out. Say 2, 220, 242.
Yes,
3
I
o'clock.
actually thought that today.
Maybe there's 4 cards going out. I think it was 4. There's 4 cards going out. Why not have? I don't know. Obviously, they can't do it with the manpower that they have right now. I get that. I'm just saying that I think it would be cool to be able to say, well, this card, everyone's had 2 or 3 down through 9 holes, but hey, this card, you got 2 guys at 6 down. They're probably going to make it to the next round. Jump over to them and stay on them for a little while.
Well, and someone just made the comment perfect here. Thank you, David Muckerhide, or however you say your name. I do like that idea. Is like what we just saw in the final round is ultimately what we're talking about for every card, like to make their way there. Like we loved seeing the battle, knowing that every shot mattered for that person to move on or win. Anyways, that used to be the way. I think it'd be cool. Match play event would be very cool. I think we need to see some more different style events than the same old. I think you need the same old, but I think adding in a variation of events like this Disc Golf Pro Tour did, awesome job to them. Congratulations, moving the sport forward. Okay, so ESPN coverage, it's coming out in about 4 weeks from today, actually. I believe it's like November 21st or 22nd. Be on the lookout for that. Nick, this is not ESPN the Ocho. This is ESPN2, actual ESPN. Like, that's a big deal. I feel like I'm stupid to ask this, but like we're talking like actual cable TV, not online streaming, like ESPN2. And they're going to do equitable coverage. That means the women are going to get the same amount of time as the men. Both final rounds will play out, interviews, stories. Mahmoud, guy who used to work at ESPN, come to disc golf. He's from Connecticut, up near where we are. Works for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, had that connection, got it going. And now, guess what? You read enough about this, and Jeff even mentioned it. We did not pay for this. Like, yeah, the payouts and all that, but like we did not pay to get on ESPN.
Yeah.
Like had to happen with CBS. Just real quick, what do you think the DD guys are like saying to themselves when this happened? They're like, are you kidding me?
But at the same time, DD sparked up something that's never been done in disc golf before, so I don't think they can really kind of like hang their head on that. But,
no. And they're like, couldn't have this flip flop the other way?
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, you're right. It inspired it. In fact, CBS was in negotiations again, saying,
try to get,
hey, we like that. You guys want to pay to have more on our show?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, not really. And then ESPN came in and said, we'll put you on the Ocho. And my understanding is Jeff Spring, or the Disc Golf Pro Tour, I should say, said, no, we don't want the Ocho. We think we're ready for ESPN, the real deal. And so that is how it went. We're going to get to that super chat in just a second here. I just wanted to wrap that up. It's going to be a 2-hour segment on ESPN. And I did not hear any outrage, Nick. Zero outrage over this being on TV. You know, that just tells me the CBS coverage where that outrage came from earlier, and we said this in our first show.
Yeah.
It came from the fact that people were being restricted from watching it on YouTube. So, people, we're happy. I think you're happy.
Yeah.
ESPN. So
it's gonna keep getting better.
Give a shout out to our super chat there.
Nate Jones, thank you for the $5. We really appreciate it. Tell me why you would rather have a tour finale that is a different format than what we see all year. I don't think it represents the sport very well. See, I like your conversation. I like where that's heading. But at the same time, I think to have a different style tournament is kind of cool. Like in golf, they do, is it the President's Cup, where you have the foreign team versus Team USA. It's kind of a different type of major that happens throughout the year. You know, doubles, match play, and everything like that. It's just kind of a change of pace. And so, yeah, maybe it doesn't represent how we play disc golf to the fullest extent. I understand that. But I do think the format's kind of cool, where you're rewarding the best players on the tour and you're putting them into a championship style bracket to where they still need to play a good round of disc golf in order to advance. So I don't really think there's anything wrong when it comes to that sense. But
why Nate, if you're still there, and we're going to talk about it anyways, but why do you think it doesn't represent the sport well to have a different finale? And here's the other thing. Let's be clear. The Disc Golf Pro Tour is a private entity. Private. I know we're saying tour finale, and we're saying like this is the sports tour finale, but it's not the sports tour finale. Now, is the Disc Golf Pro Tour a big part of the scene right now? For sure. And I think they're pushing the sport to the next level. And so I don't want to get too hung up on that point, but the point is it is a private entity. They definitely, I don't know. The format of how players are knocked out, let's say like March Madness or something, that's different than all year. You don't usually lose one and you're out. You know what I mean? Like sports do change when you get to quote unquote playoffs.
Yep.
Right? Playoffs are different.
This is almost in the sense of playoffs. Yeah. In the NFL, you play one game, you lose it, you're out. In the NBA, you play a best of 7 series. So yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah, I think you put that pretty well. It's almost like a playoff setting.
It's just different.
Ending of the year.
You play your round, and maybe you make it on, and maybe you don't.
Yeah.
It's
Nate,
it's exciting. Right? Yeah, it was Nate. I don't see any comments there. Some people are talking about it. We're getting really close to the end here, Nick, and surprisingly, we haven't hit the long portion of our show yet.
But well, I'm going to New York tomorrow, so
and I've got work.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, so see behind me here, I'll pull it up on screen if you're watching. I have a dude clothing banner hanging on its side right behind me. And I do virtual training, Nick, for this company of safety. I'm in safety, and I'm teaching or training orientation for construction line utility workers. And by chance, we had a group of Australians get on. I say by chance. They were invited into this orientation I was doing, Australians. And it was like 3 a.m. for them. And it was like 2 p.m. for me. Or 1 p.m. And I was like, hey, look at this. This is from Australia, Down Under Disc Golf Evolution, dude clothing. And it was pretty funny to hear all their accents talking about disc golf. Hey, disc golf. I don't know how they do their accents. But
yeah. No, that's pretty sweet, though.
Grill some shrimp on the bobby.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I love how that's everyone's like low-key thing to say about Australians is put shrimp on the barbie. It's
crikey.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they said?
If I think of Australia, I think of Steve Irwin. Always.
They had, I don't know. They had, I'm not getting into their slang right now, but players that deserve to be in the conversation for player of the year. We don't need to make this into a huge topic because it's not our decision, but I think because we're at the end of the year, Nick, the end of the disc golf season, it's worth talking about who would be your like top 4 and maybe like honorable mention. Like you think they played as the best, the top 4. and then maybe say, here's who I think number 1 is.
For player of the year.
So just go ahead and give us like top 4. No specific order. Just like
top 4.
Say some names.
Okay, we'll say Chris Dickerson, Calvin Heimberg, Paul McBeth, Eagle, McMahon.
Okay.
I'll say those 4.
Okay. And do you have
It's weird because I think like the number 5 would easily be Kevin Jones. So I think I could potentially take out Chris for Kevin, but Chris just won a major. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, what do we call that? Paul was on our show. What's that called? Recency bias?
Exactly. Yeah, I know, right?
He just won, so now he's the best.
But Chris also had multiple like great finishes throughout the year, averaged pretty well at Pro Tour events and everything like that. Like same thing with Calvin. Calvin had great events. Eagle had multiple Pro Tour wins. Paul had multiple Pro Tour wins, but neither Paul or Eagle came out with a big win. But then Calvin didn't either. Then Chris Dickerson did. So it's kind of like you have to average everyone out to where I almost can't because I don't know the stats well enough.
I took a look at some stats.
It's a really close here. I do want to say, though, I'm pretty sure Paul averaged the best at Pro Tour events. So if you're going to look at statistically, like his average throughout every single Pro Tour event, statistically, I'm pretty sure Paul wins it.
Yeah. So if you want to look at the stats, our friends over at Ulti World wrote up some nice things. And so you can see Elite Series is our Disc Golf Pro Tour. And Paul has 2 wins. Calvin Heimberg has 2 wins. Eagle has 2 wins. Kevin Jones has 2 wins. The other players that have a win, Chris Dickerson, Ricky, and Nico. Okay, so that's that. But then they start averaging out your top finishes. Paul has 7 top 3 finishes. That's better than anybody else. With Calvin being the second best with 6 top 3 finishes. Then you have top 5 finishes. Paul has 10 top 5 or better. Okay. And then that's beating everybody there besides Ricky, who has 8. Paul has 11 top 10. Oh, I said top 5. I meant top 10 or whatever. Back and forth. The point is here, his average finish, Paul's average finish at Elite Series was 3.5. That is better than anybody else. At USDGC, he finished 5th. And that's kind of like, can we just say, when you finish 5th at a major, that should not be like, oh, Paul didn't play that good.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
right?
that's
but
incredible.
For people to say, like, Paul finished 5th at USDGC, oh, he's done. He's washed up.
But
like,
this,
that's just how people think of Paul.
But this is exactly worth talking about because I think that Paul is the player of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
I don't think there's any, there's arguments to be made that like some players had amazing pushes and like, not like rookie of the year stuff, but like, wow, you're really impressive. But results, standings.
Yep.
I think Paul McBeth wins it. And for people to say, well, it's not as good as 2015 or whatever it was, right? What was his really good
2015.
year?
Yeah.
You can't compare it to other, you can't compare him to him.
This year you cannot compare it to any other year. And yeah, like you said, you can't compare him to him.
Like if you played better than everybody else and stats show it, then that's what it is. So
last year he was the player of the year. This year, I think he should be deserving of the player of the year.
But I will say
there was only one major.
I will say in my head, if I had thought about it though, without seeing the stats, I would have put Calvin and Kevin Jones and Dickerson in that same conversation.
Yeah.
Eagle obviously is close. All these players are good, but we're talking player of the year. It would have been, man, see, that is tough. I don't know. I think it has to go to Paul. Kevin Jones would have been close.
Kevin, I have the recency bias towards because
that's probably what it is.
Because of the DGPT finish. Like, 25th at USDGC, average finish was a 13.4.
Man.
He only had
Chris Dickerson,
2 top 3s, but he did have 2 wins. So are they counting the Harmony Benz?
I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think Chris Dickerson would have been the only one that was an actual contender against Paul. Now, why aren't we talking about the FPO? You know why? Because there's no, I don't want to say there's no debate there, but like player of the year is pretty obvious.
Hailey King. I'm just kidding.
It's pretty obvious. Like she destroyed the field majority of the time.
Yeah. No. Jeff, my caddy, is not coming tomorrow. Sorry. He said no.
Yeah, Jeff.
Just quick.
And Jeff actually read my mind and commented before I even said it. Paige Pierce is player of the year for sure.
Changed my mind. Yeah.
But just like we were saying with the MPO, who would have been close to that? Who would have been there? I mean, Kat, Sarah, or Hailey. Those three would have been in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds obvious.
I think for kind of, I think Hailey would have been the second best. I think Hailey was the second best FPO player this year.
Recency bias, or just
no? I've kind of like felt that since I met her kind of officially last year, and just seeing her growth in disc golf in general. I do think, like she said, she lost how many tournaments on hole 16 this year, to where it was kind of like, okay, she makes up a couple little mistakes and now she is winning those tournaments. So I do think Hailey is the second best player.
Good point.
Just
GMC
personal.
and all those other things.
Yeah. GMC, Ledgestone. She played great at Ledgestone.
Nick, you got to stop making friends with all these pros, because now you're like, I got to pick Paul. I got to pick Hailey.
I've told Paul, I was like, look, if you're ever not in my like conversation of best player, like I'll say it. But at the same time, if there's someone who I'm going to confidently bet on to win a tournament, unless Paul breaks his back, I'm going to bet on Paul,
So moving along, this is our transition. Did you watch Simon's vlog on the putters ranked? Like
no,
top 30
I haven't
ranked?
watched that one yet, but I did hear about it. And I think the funniest thing about it was because Eagle proclaimed himself of being the best putter in the world, and then I proceeded to watch him 4-putt on a hole at the DGPT
Didn't he
finale.
make a comment on that?
Yeah, and he said, he was like, that's pretty much my fault for proclaiming that I'm the best putter in the world. Or, this is what you get for proclaiming you're the best putter in the world. And honestly, that had me dying.
Yes, it was totally funny. I'm trying to see if I can find it here. If what he said. I don't want to waste everybody's time here.
This is what you get when you say you're the best putter in the world. Jokes aside, this reminds me of 2018 Wintertime Open on the Mount hole, where I went from birdie to a 6 to completely ruin my chances at winning. I learned from it, practiced, and got better. Observe your failures and learn from them. Even now, I'm watching the video at the same time. And
so it was funny. You got to go watch that vlog, because he's like, if I can I say it? Can I say it? He's like, I pick me. Pick me. And like, that's cool. I think the confidence level was awesome out of him. But that is an interesting question. If you watch it out, and we're giving a shout out to Simon. Simon, we love you. We'll have you on the show here in another 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Or whenever you want to come in. Yeah. But like, he rated him, and they're like, where do you put Paul? Where do you put Paul? Is he the best putter in the world this year? Who's better than him?
Well, wasn't that kind of their argument? Was this year? It's
yes,
not
that
his
was Eagles.
suit?
That was Eagles. But here's Simon's take. You ready? And you said this. This is what reminded me of it. Who would you bet your life on if you had to say, okay, I'm betting my life on this? Who's gonna take the putt for me? A 40-foot putt.
Right now, Hailey King. I'm just kidding. Paul Macbeth, yeah.
Paul's clutch, and so they ended up making an own.
Go watch go watch 2014 Worlds in the playoff. Just watch the countless clutch putts that he.
But
hits.
Even this year, like I just feel like put him in a clutch situation, bro. You're playing for my life.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be pretty scary.
Bro,
moment.
If you miss this, I die.
That'd be a pretty scary moment. All right, finally wrapping it up. Final topic, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but we do think it's fun to talk about. Eagle McMahon again. Eagle, I was going to invite you on the show tonight.
Just because we had so much to talk
But then
about.
I had seen him say, like, I'm taking a break from social media, and I didn't want to. He probably would have came
Good
on.
for him.
But Circle 1, here's what he wrote in one of his recent posts. Circle 1, the 10-meter circle ceases to exist. As in, this is his idea. That means Circle 1 is stretched out to Circle 2's distance, so no more jump putting within 20 meters. This would piss a lot of people off, but could bring long-term positives. I think that it could make foot fault calls easier. Plus, some people will say that this is pointless, but it would lower Circle 1 putting percentages. Yes, I don't care about that. Percentages don't really matter, in my opinion. Look at Circle 2 then. But anyways, so hypothetically, if someone was putting 75% in Circle 1 in the fantasy 20-meter circle, he's saying, that person could be more easily recognized as the best putter since the margins would be greater. But my point is then take Circle 2 as your stance if that's what you care about for percentages. But he goes, let me know what you think. Don't take anything too seriously. I just wanted to start some discussions on some new ideas since the sport is growing so fast at the moment and getting on major networks. I think it's time to embrace change sooner than later before the old way gets too grandfathered. Yeah, too grandfathered in. Yeah. So let me give you my take on this, Nick. My response, and then I want yours, is if you had no circle 1, but circle 1 was technically what circle 2 is now. Okay, so just move it back.
Yeah.
I think that's actually an incredible idea because it doesn't change the sport per se. Everyone goes make smaller baskets, bullseye baskets, make it harder to putt. I think making it harder to putt would say make circle 1, circle 2. You have to stand still, demonstrate balance, as they say. No jump putting. It makes it too easy to do a little jump layup. You know what I mean? When you're out, that's like way too easy. To actually have to do a throw or a putt would make it a little bit harder. I think it would let the better players shine hitting the bigger putts. It'd be a greater show. I actually like that idea, and I would say I don't think it's going to happen because we can just stop looking at circle 1 stats. But as far as the rule changing, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see the PDGA changing the rule. It would take some serious, it
would take some serious convincing to actually get that to happen. But see, I like the rule to where, you would make circle 1, circle 2. So now your circle 1 is anything 60 feet, let's say 66 feet and in. But the biggest thing that I'm seeing about this, and I've seen it a lot, is people saying, oh, well, wouldn't it be harder? You know, I'm just kind of reading off one of the comments. Wouldn't it be hard when asking, am I outside the circle? Or wouldn't it be harder when asking, am I outside the circle if the circle is 60 feet? And I want to say no, because we had to learn it for 30 feet.
Yeah.
And obviously that is a closer distance, but another 30 feet to that, it's kind of, you just get used to it to a point where you're like, yeah, no, that's definitely inside circle 1. So
someone does bring up, how are they going to make a perfect 20-meter circle? Too many trees, bushes near every basket. I'll say this. It would make the quote-unquote putting area larger, but here why I don't think you would have to make it a perfect putting green inside of 20. It's just saying inside of 20 meters, you now have to demonstrate balance. Still keep your 10-meter quote-unquote circle clear.
I like that. What
keep
Russell
it clear.
Just said,
So the closer you get to the basket, the easier your putt is, for sure. But the 20-meter circle, we're just talking about being a rule for a stance. They can do it the same way they do now, where they do the little paint lines or whatever.
Paint lines, flags, little,
I don't see the logistics of creating this 20-meter circle being the problem. I do appreciate all the input here that people are giving. I love your feedback here. I'm not right. I'm just sharing my opinion. And I share it very strongly.
Doc just said this Bushnell would love it. And it's so funny because I've been joking around with a bunch of friends, and I was like, has anyone ever just Bushnelled a putt? Like, if someone says, hey man, am I outside the circle? Just walk over to him and be like, here, check it out, Bushnell it. And just like hit the top of the band. Like, you would know exactly if you're inside or outside the circle. So when I get my Bushnell, that's probably, I'm jokingly going to do that to people in casual rounds. Am I outside? Oh yeah, let me check that out for you real quick.
Well, Bushnell, by the way, very cool that they came in the end of the season and closer to the end of the season like this. And they seem to have gotten in just like Grip 6 did. And now they're kind of like, it seems like all in.
Yeah. I love
and
it.
They've changed their rangefinders to be foot instead of yards or meters or whatever they were doing. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're glad to have anybody come into the sport. So I will say, Nick, we talked about a significant amount
of stuff,
of topics tonight, but we were gone for 2 weeks.
So we had to make it up. So this should have been a 4-hour episode, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we're actually a little below average of what we normally do, which is crazy.
We could have ended this an hour ago too. That's
Nick and I are going to have conversations off air about how the show is going to proceed now that the off season is here. In fact, we have not officially had this conversation, so we're not prepared to tell you, but I do foresee, Nick, correct me if you think differently.
The show's ending for the winter, guys.
Yeah.
Just
there will be interviews of players, whether they are national touring level or significant, interesting story, local or regional. We will do that. It's a matter of frequency. There are shows, there are podcasts who do breaks, seasons, if you will. And maybe we're going to do seasons, and we'll start up season number 2 at X date.
Yeah.
Or maybe we do a time off. Nick's going to go train with Paul Macbeth, right?
That's the plan.
I'm just throwing it out.
Nothing set in stone yet, but yeah.
Paul, if you're listening, he's been crying on the inside. Just no. But the point is,
disc golf.
Yeah, but the point is, you're going to be making trips. The holidays are coming through.
Yeah,
it's going to be. We want to keep this frequency for our fans. we do, but at the same time, we're going to change it. We're going to make it something you look forward to when we come back for season 2. But so my point is, we're not going away, but the frequency will change. We're going to decide what that looks like. Yeah.
We don't know yet. We're not even sure. The show is going to continue
next week. No, next week it's like not here. They're like crickets. Where are they?
Yeah. No. And we'll obviously, if there's a time where, like last week, where we need to cancel for that week, we will let everyone know. We're totally fine with that. So, Jeff, we are going to cover TC a little bit, kind of like brief subjects on it. But what are you up to the rest of the week?
Well, we have Friday, which is work day for me, unfortunately. But then Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to get in some disc golf. I think Kent Chapman here, he's in the room. And I say in the room, he's in the chat room.
Yeah, he's in the room.
That is who I'm getting into tea time with at Maple Hill. I'll have to report back on that.
Nice.
I'll have to say how one of our disc golf loyal fans is out on the course.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I have my final tournament of the year at Heiser Creek Disc Golf Park, and I'm super excited for it. Up in New York, I'm going to go see Jeff. And then actually, someone had commented very early in the show saying that they are the card that's seeing off before me. So hopefully I'll be able to see you. I know
he's going to come get his free lunch.
Yeah, that's probably why he's coming up. He's going to be like, dude, by the way, you owe me lunch. I'm going to be like, crap. Someone's actually going to take me up on that offer. But no, I'm super excited. I played Heiser Creek years ago. I think 5 years ago when I was living in upstate New York. I went down and played it once. And from what I remember, it was a very, very fun, very wooded with a couple open holes. I'm super excited for it.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that if you've made it to this part in the show, Nick, we should always wait till the end to like give away like $100 bill or something. Right? So people just hold on.
I want the $100.
Paying for lunch. Yeah. But no, we're not giving away money. But like if you've made it to this part in the show, I'm interested in your opinion. And if you've watched this far post live, that's cool too. I want your opinion. Would you be interested in production of Nick and me on the course, giving you extra content? Possibly Patreon. So like if you want to support us, we will give you extra content to help fill your hours and days with disc golf content. Would you be interested in that? Comment and let us know. It is something we're considering.
I might even play piano for you guys. Who knows? If we set up that Patreon, might play piano for them. I think it'd be sick to do a mic'd up round. You and me, just a fun one. Someone just said, mic'd up. I think that'd be really fun. I've never done it.
And we are at some point when Simon heals up enough, we are planning to do that. Me, you, him, Maple Hill, how many throws to get from hole 1 to hole 11's basket.
And then hole 11 back to 18.
So, I mean, if we do, would people be interested in that? We're talking like probably Patreon. We're trying to look at ways to upgrade our microphones. I'm pretty like picky and I'm listening to our sound and going, man, we could sound so much better. Better cameras, all that stuff. We'd love to upgrade it. We'd try to continue to bring a good product to you. But that was just tossing it out there. All right, Nick, now we're rambling on. You ready to close out the show?
Yeah. Everyone, please hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's still a $20 gift card up for grabs if you leave an iTunes review on the podcast. Take a screenshot it, send it to the Nick and Matt Show. Like I said, like, subscribe, tell someone you love them this week. Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow up in New York. Matt, I'll see you soon.
You're awesome, Nick.
Catch you guys next week.
Peace out.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Nick and Matt Show. Be sure to check us out on your favorite social platform and to subscribe on iTunes.